A full moon over Chicagoland Speedway. We can only assume that we're going to have incredible drama, maybe even some crazy happenings here tonight in the last race before the chase. But how could it possibly top what we saw the last race? Cole Custer leading. It dominated the whole race, seemed to have the race won, but John Hunter Nemechek got into him going into the last couple of turns. They went through the grass getting to the finish line, and no, it wasn't Custer securing the win and a spot in the chase. It was John Hunter Nemechek winning for the second time. Good evening, welcome. I'm Vince Welch with Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons. This is what we've been waiting for, getting to the chase. Well, we're there, and we're going to decide and find out which teams are going to get in and which are not. We saw that finish at Canada, Mike. Payback certainly coming somewhere down the line, but not tonight, is it?
No, you wouldn't think so. Not on purpose anyway. But, Vince, we have record speeds. We just set a track record in qualifying. And when these guys go drafting tonight, racing side by side, they're going to be well faster than that. This place has gotten bumpy. It's really rough in the corners, so running side by side could be really tough. And these guys will be challenged to do that. And just remember, you talk about payback, sometimes accidentally you wreck people, like John Hunter Nemechek did last year at Gateway. Matt Crafton went into this race leading the championship standings, Phil. John Hunter gets loose, puts Crafton in the wall. He left Gateway without that points lead. So battles happen, and you have intense side-by-side racing at these speeds. Anything can happen.
And it all comes down to the chase. That's what it's all about. Phil, there's guys that have got to win to get in. Some can get in on points, and then there's some, like maybe a guy like Kyle Busch, who's not involved in the chase at all, but certainly could play a big role.
Well, this chase was designed for one thing, to reward the guys that win, and that's exactly what we've done. We've got 6 guys that have already won. They're in the chase. We know that. There's a couple guys that could get in because of the points, but we've got some guys here that's just one thing on their mind right now. That's win. You see Cole Custer, he's had the speed. We know he can do it. Cameron Haley finished second at Atlanta. He's had the speed. Reddick's won twice last year. Second in the points, he's had speed. Ben Rhodes could have won Kansas. He got crashed on the last lap with Johnny Sauter. Spencer Gallagher's on the pole. Rico could have won Texas if he would have been able to get by William Byron. And John West Townley starting on the front row here. So these guys all have the speed. We'll see what happens tonight.
It's going to be fun. There's no question about it. Let's go downstairs and get the command to start.
And now for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal from American Ethanol, Roger Sy. On behalf of the Illinois corn farmers and the American ethanol producers, I'm proud to announce the 4 most famous words in racing. Drivers, start your engines.
You can feel the tension, the anticipation of making the chase. Who's going to make it? Who's going to miss? We find out next. The trucks are rolling at Chicagoland Speedway, the final race before the chase for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It's the 8th time the trucks have raced here at Chicagoland. As we take a look at our Camping World track description, Phil, it's a mile and a half. It's the 6th time we've raced on a mile and a half this season, and a lot of them out there, but this one has its unique tendencies as well and characteristics.
Yeah, certainly. As you can see, it's banked 18 degrees. These guys will run from the white line all the way up to the top of the racetrack. Michael said there's a lot of bumps, especially over the tunnel in turn number 3 and 4. So these guys really have their challenges. The back straightaway is not straight, so that's a little bit unique about this place as well.
Check out our race analysis here, guys. The caution clock will expire somewhere around 38 laps. Fuel wind is 52, so that could bring in some strategy. And Vince, we saw that beautiful moon earlier. Don't let that fool you. There's rain in the area, and it's heading this way. And what I love about that is strategy. It's going to be all over the place when these guys come to pit road because they're going to try to sneak in there and swipe a win.
So some of these guys might be racing to halfway?
Well, you got to play every card you got in your book, and there's some guys that need a win or are desperate to get there, and that's what I love, strategy.
Here's our 32 starters tonight. 10 of those drivers all have a chance at solidifying a spot in the chase here tonight. And you see the note, Ben Kennedy there, it says chase there in yellow. That means he's already secured a spot in the chase. 6 of them have. 8 will go to the chase. 2 right now sitting on points.
Yeah, that was the #1 seed, William Byron, with 5 wins this year. That means he has 15 points in the bank as he goes to Loudon next week.
Rico Brew really close to winning down in Texas. That track reminds me a lot of the surface here in Chicagoland, so Rico could have a big night.
See Josh Berry, an opportunity, longtime driver of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s late model, and a lot of anticipation about seeing him in the Truck Series tonight in that 71 truck.
Good to see Jesse Little back with us, Travis Quapple, former champion.
32 trucks. Going to roll 150 laps, and we're going to have some unique looks with some onboard cameras.
Yeah, we're going to ride along with the Canadian Cameron Haley. He's in the Ride TV Toyota. Had that second place finish at Atlanta. He needs to do one better than that here to get in the chase, and we'll start from the 20th spot.
Let's hop on board with 17th place starter Cole Custer, the California kid. He was so close to winning the last time out. Has to get to victory lane to make our chase. He'll roll the Haas Automation Chevy off tonight.
We're also going to ride along on the Ford onboard of Daniel Hemrick. Daniel's had 6 third-place finishes this year. Just has to have a solid race, get through just the first few laps, and he's probably locked into the chase, and he will start from the 10th spot.
Let's hop on with his Brad Keselowski Racing teammate Tyler Reddick. Reddick rolls from the 4th position in the Cooper Standard Ford. Another guy just desperate for that win.
Let's get some pre-race thoughts from our pit reporters, Caitlin Vincey and Hermie Sadler. We'll begin with Hermie.
Well, thank you, Vince. You know, the talk of the Camping World Truck Series garage for the last couple of weeks has been the incident between John Hunter Nemechek and Cole Custer. But our front row starters tonight had a similar situation earlier this year back at Gateway Motorsports Complex. Now, these guys had a disagreement on the racetrack, and they decided to take it outside of the truck and onto the pavement. You see these guys at each other trying to solve this problem that they had between each other on the racetrack. Carried on the racetrack. Didn't end well for either guy. A little DDT right there from John West Townley. But at the end of the day, fast forward to tonight, these drivers are on the front row starting side by side, and the stakes are high. The question is, do they have that out of their system? Are there lingering effects? One of these drivers could win and advance to race for a championship. We'll see if they can focus and get that done. Caitlin?
Well, Hermie, many drivers in the field this evening are in must-win scenarios if they want to move on to the chase. 2 of them are ThorSport Racing teammates, Ben Rhodes and Cameron Haley. I spoke with Cameron's team earlier. They said they are taking a very laid-back, low-key approach to tonight's event, just focusing on the task at hand. But if he's going to get the win, he has some work to do. He's starting 20th. Now, his teammate, Ben Rhodes, his crew chief, told me they put a lot of time and effort into this truck at the race shop this week, working some long hours, even until 2 o'clock in the morning to try and get it ready for tonight's event. But the good news is they feel like it is one of the strongest mile-and-a-half trucks they have had all season long. Vince?
Well, and what a terrific story it would be if one of those ThorSport trucks ended up winning the race tonight and making their reservation for the chase after everything that team has been through with the fire and the recovery. And others like Daniel Hemrick and Brad Keselowski Racing. Hemrick currently in the 7th position. Let's listen in.
Oh, boys. Let's do what we've done all the way up to this point. Control what we can. The rest take care of itself. Everybody stay safe down there. Chad, just keep me updated, bud. 10-4, buddy. We know what we need to do. We'll work on the truck all night. As soon as we get an indication of what we need to start working on first, we will let us know.
Hemrick, one of those drivers, doesn't need to win, just needs to avoid disaster tonight. We're ready to go racing. The pole winner, Spencer Gallagher, starts on the outside. It's the last race before the chase, and we're green at Chicagoland.
Slow start by Townley. He's going to be split.
Suarez and Peters swallow up John West Townley. Spencer Gallagher to the point with the lead, followed closely by Tyler Reddick.
Look at him, 3 wide already.
And this is the part we were talking about, Phil. It's so hard to hold these trucks steady when you're in tight traffic like that. They're handling different than they have all week. Loose in the corners, these guys are.
Air pressure way down right now, too.
The first lap led by the pole winner, Spencer Gallagher, earned pole for the first time in his career earlier today, trying to win for the first time tonight. Tyler Reddick taking the higher line while Gallagher stays close to the white line, and that orange truck of Daniel Suarez in third.
Watch this big draft these trucks get, Phil. We're going to see this all night long. Watch the way the 29 truck of Reddick is able to pull up on the truck in front. He's using the air off him to gain an advantage. In the 70s, we saw the slingshot. Well, it lives well. It's alive here in the Truck Series today.
Keep an eye on that black number 18 there. That's Kyle Busch. No practice. Eric Jones actually practiced that truck. Kyle Busch qualified up in the top 10, and he's on the move right now in fourth.
As you look at the leaderboard up at the top of the screen, if the driver's name is highlighted in yellow, he would be in the chase. Now, Gallagher would not technically be in as we run right now, but if he ended up finishing the race as the leader, as he leads now, he would get in via that victory. But if their name is highlighted in yellow, they are chase contenders. They are chase drivers. If they're in blue, they're still trying to work their way in. You see Ben Kennedy there in the 33. He's in.
Oh, William Byron into the outside wall.
Correct. Rear clip, stay up there. 5 more.
Five-time winner this season, William Byron, our championship points leader coming into the race, was running 11th, and he got up into the wall. They said this race was like a dress rehearsal for the chase. Not the way they want the chase to go, that's for sure.
Not typical for this team. He's only not finished one race this year, and that's because he blew an engine at Atlanta. Just exactly what you were talking about, Michael, down on the inside of the 41 of Ben Rhodes and got loose.
This guy's won 5 races this year. He's a rookie, but he's done an amazing job. That's going to be something we're going to watch all night, Phil. These guys, especially when it gets down to crunch time, they get on the inside of other trucks that they're just really a handful, and you can see one of the best out there hard into the outside wall.
Heavy damage to that Kyle Busch Motorsports machine, and William Byron, the 18-year-old rookie, takes it to the garage. The championship leader with trouble already, but his spot in the chase is confirmed. Under caution for the first time tonight at Chicagoland Speedway, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. The last race before the chase. About to find out who's going to get in and have a shot at the championship. The good news for William Byron is he's already won 5 times this season. No problem. He's got a spot in the chase secured. The bad news, they wanted this to be the dress rehearsal for the chase beginning next week, and this isn't the way you want to start.
Watch this now. This is before the incident. You see the 41. Looked like William had a bit of a run on the 41 of Ben Rhodes. Ben kind of forced him up into the outside wall. Then William said, okay, I'm going to try to get by you on the inside. This is actually maybe the corner before that, able to pass him comfortably. Uses the 11 of Matt Tiff for a pick.
And you got to know that this 9 truck is handling well. He's able to pass guys, but you can't complete the pass when you're down on the bottom, and he just gets up a little bit closer to the 41 of Ben Rhodes, and I think he wanted to. He'd like to been over on that white line, got up a little bit closer, and the air just sucked him around.
And if Ben would have probably given him another half a truck width, that probably wouldn't have happened, but that's one of the very best we have this year. That's how easy it can happen.
Okay, now we talked about the fact that William Byron isn't worried about getting in the chase. He's won 5 times this season, so that's not a problem from that perspective. But how about the psyche of this young driver having this happen on a night when they really wanted to generate good, strong momentum going into the playoffs?
Yeah, and we know we have 3 more mile-and-a-halfs this year, too. And this is the type of thing, as Michael talked about, our very open, that can happen on this type of racetrack. So there's got to be maybe just a bit of an element of doubt now in your mind.
And that's when the owner will come into being a big part of that driver's psyche. The owner knows how easily these things has been around. Kyle Busch has been in every position. He's got to just coach his young driver through what happened here tonight and make sure he gets to Loudon with his eyes set on a championship.
Yeah, there's 2 wins right there on the mile-and-a-halfs for William Byron at Kansas and Texas.
And you got to understand, Vince, he's been put in every position, every situation he could be in on the racetrack, driving to victory lane 5 times and leading the points like he's done. Just an amazing job. But in that case, probably just a foot of difference in being a little bit lower on the racetrack caused him to get sideways and then crashed into the wall.
Let's check in downstairs with Caitlin.
Well, as you can see, the 9 team of William Byron working very quickly to try and repair this. They're going to try and put a new quarter panel on, also straighten out the rear bodywork to try and meet minimum speed, but certainly a tough break for William Byron in the early goings of this race.
Guys, we saw that, see the video there. Why fix it? Why are they working to fix the 9? His spot in the chase is secure.
Yeah, I really don't understand that. There has to be a reason. But John West Townley, we had a bit of a struggle there at the start of the race.
Let's check in downstairs with Hermie.
Same thing we saw with William Byron. John West Townley started this race on the bottom, got loose, lost some positions. Listen to the 05 radio.
Don't worry about starting a race, shake it off. That's only one. We're going to have many more tonight that nail it, and we're going to need to nail the last one, not the first one. Focus here on this next restart. You're going to be on the top side. I think you'll be able to make some stuff happen. Go get them. You're done good. Get yourself collected back up. You're running with them guys. You're as good as better than all them guys, so no worries.
Got trapped on the bottom the initial start. This start, he's on the outside, Vince.
Well, and our front row driver, Spencer Gallagher, who's led them all from the pole so far tonight, once again chooses the outside as the control vehicle. Tyler Reddick restarts on the inside. The green flag waves, back to racing at Chicagoland.
About Suarez dives down to make it 3 wide.
And again, that truck on the inside at the start gets swallowed up.
He's just so vulnerable, Vince. Those guys get a run. There's a lot of racetrack down below them, and they take advantage of it. But our leader, Spencer Gallagher's gotten trapped to the bottom of the track now. Kyle Busch and Daniel Suarez go by high.
KBM trucks 18 and 51. Kyle Busch to the front for the first time.
Look at Reddick right in the middle. There's his teammate Daniel Hemrick, 19 to the right of him.
Got to give a shout out to Gallagher, is able to hold off Suarez and stay right in behind Kyle Busch. In fact, he's looking to the inside now.
3 wide back in the pack.
Look at this move.
Gallagher again challenging Kyle Busch.
I think Kyle will recognize the fact that he's got Spencer down below him. Let's see if he gives him a little extra room. Give the lead back to Gallagher for the moment.
That's something you don't see every day. Truckers passing Kyle Busch. He hadn't got it done yet, but what a strong truck that 23 is.
Side by side at the front, Spencer Gallagher and Kyle Busch, with Busch's teammate Daniel Suarez following in the orange 51. John West Townley just a little bit further back in the 4th spot.
Gallagher's really got to be careful here. He's going to want to try to grab this lead and complete the pass, but Kyle's holding him down a bit.
Townley forced them up. Kyle comes down. Still no contact.
It opens up the bottom for Suarez, guys.
The door opened and Suarez came through. Suarez to the front from 3rd to 1st.
Wow, that's a good battle.
Gallagher told his guys, I talked to him down in the garage area, that he had a truck that he could win with. It sure looks like it.
Remember, Daniel Suarez not chase eligible in the truck series. He runs full time in the Xfinity series. Kyle Busch in 3rd, not truck chase eligible. Of course, full time in the Sprint Cup series. But Spencer Gallagher, that truck in the middle, he is chase eligible, and he needs to win tonight to get into the chase.
He is doing a whale of a job right now, just stalking the 51 of Suarez.
Well, these guys were battling side by side, and Suarez just saw that opportunity. Check this out. Kyle's getting a bit of a draft off the side of Gallagher there. Slows both those trucks down, Phil. And watch this head of steam. The slingshot perfected by Daniel Suarez to the bottom. What a great move.
Yeah, and remember, those guys never backed off. They're running wide open, but they punched such a big hole in the air that opened it up for the 51 of Suarez.
I like what Gallagher's doing here, too. You saw him just a half a groove up higher than Suarez. That's keeping a lot of air on the nose of that Chevy pickup. That means it's getting some good downforce there, and he's able to run the line that he likes.
Coming through those bumps down in 3 and 4. Those are pretty significant, aren't they?
Yeah, the drivers are all talking about how they disrupt the trucks, but man, just remember watching at home, these cats are running over 170 miles an hour bouncing through those bumps. It's like taking your family pickup truck down a gravel road at that type of speed and trying to hang on to it.
What does it do when you talk about upsetting the truck from a driver's perspective? What's he feeling in there, Mike?
It's just a lot of buffeting back and forth, up and down. The thing's just wanting to go sideways because you're hanging on to it because you're on the edge of control anyway, and then you add those bumps too, and that's why it's so hard to run side by side through there, because of the air that is disturbed by the other trucks.
The 29 of Reddick has slipped back to 14th. What's going on there, Hermie?
Very, very loose, Vince. Since the second restart, he was pretty good on the initial start, but when they dropped the green flag back, on this most recent green flag, he got loose. Has been loose several different times on different parts of the racetrack and has dropped from 4th all the way back to 14th. Still fighting a loose condition, cannot pull the truck down to the bottom of the racetrack, and you can see right now getting some pressure from the 41 of Ben Rhodes.
Yeah, under siege by a couple of ThorSport machines. That 13 of Cameron Haley went by Reddick, and the 41 of Ben Rhodes is looking.
Yeah, and when you're loose like that, Phil, he's just trying to find a hole to ride in. He doesn't want to be 3 wide. He doesn't want to be on the outside of another truck. He just wants to find a place where he can ride until that crew can get to work on that truck.
Remember, we have that caution clock here. You look at top left of your screen, 15 minutes. If we don't see a caution flag, then NASCAR will throw one. Most of the guys feel like we'll have the caution clock come into play here.
Suarez continues to lead, chased by Spencer Gallagher. Gallagher taking a look on the outside. Suarez runs him up.
Yeah, and this is bad news for Timothy Peters, the way this 23 truck of Spencer Gallagher is running. He's faster than our leader Suarez right now. He hadn't figured out a way by yet. Timothy Peters needs to win this race if he wants to stay in the chase. Spencer Gallagher could kick him right out.
Yeah, if Suarez were to win this race, or Kyle Busch, then Timothy Peters, with any kind of a decent finish, is going to be okay. Just staying on the racetrack, he'll be okay. But not if Spencer Gallagher goes to victory lane.
As Peters is on the bubble in that 8th and final spot. If a driver who has yet to win this season and is chase eligible gets that victory, they'll take that spot, and Peters will be out.
This is when a young man like Spencer Gallagher really needs to be patient. He needs to be preached. His spotters, his crew chief, they need to be preaching patience so that he doesn't get overzealous with this really fast truck here early in the going. They've got tons of time to get to victory lane. He makes one mistake and it could be thrown away.
He has one of the best crew chiefs in the business, and that's Jeff Hensley. He's been around a long time. He won an Xfinity championship years ago with Chuck Bound. He knows what he's doing. He's the guy that can calm Spencer Gallagher down.
Again, as you look at our leaderboard, if the driver's name is highlighted in green, they have won races this season and are already locked into the chase. If their name is highlighted in yellow, they would be in on points as we currently run.
This is good stuff. Wow. Can't believe how fast these trucks are going tonight.
20 laps into it. A battle for the lead between Suarez and Gallagher. Tomorrow, one of the biggest games this season in college football. You'll find it on Fox for the first time in 33 years. Number 3 ranked Ohio State takes on 14th ranked Oklahoma. Don't miss the historic event tomorrow, 7 Eastern, only on Fox.
Some of those players wouldn't have been alive last time they played, would they?
No, none of them. 33 years.
Maybe some of the coaches.
Urban Meyer and Bob Stoops, though, they know the significance of that matchup. The two outstanding coaches. Well, Spencer Gallagher started this race on the pole, currently runs second. Let's get an update from Caitlin.
Well, Vince, it's been a bit of a rough summer stretch for Spencer Gallagher. He's finished outside the top 10 in the last 9 races, but certainly a new story for him here this weekend. Earlier he said, this is our very last chance to get into the chase. So needless to say, we are heading into this race with full steam ahead. He said, we've gotten a couple races where we've been close to getting a win, but haven't had the results we wanted. But certainly a different story for him tonight on the pole, running second now. He's been pretty quiet on the radio, just telling his team that truck is a little bit tight.
Boy, Caitlin, you can really tell how focused he is and how much that win would mean. Driving around Kyle Busch, he and Suarez both, and now Spencer seems to have a bit faster truck than Suarez, but hadn't figured out a way around yet. Been up beside him a couple of times, but couldn't complete the pass.
He's trying to run where Suarez isn't, so I think that's a good move, too. You see him run on the extreme high side there.
Well, in baseball, they tell you to hit them where they ain't. And in NASCAR, you've got to go where they're not. You've got to try to mix it up. And that's not only on the track, Phil, but also down on pit road. I know those crew chiefs are closely looking at the weather radar, seeing if it's coming. How can they maybe make a strategy call that can get them to victory lane as well?
Top of the screen, your chase standings as they run right now. Byron, Crafton, Nemechek, Sauter, Kennedy, Bell, all in on wins. Hemrick and Peters would be in on points as they currently run. Spencer Gallagher in that 23 truck running second. He needs to win to get in, and he's running up front, chasing Daniel Suarez.
Right now, the top 5 are still within a second and a half. John West Townley settled down into the 4th spot behind the 18 of Kyle Busch. Ben Kennedy slots in 5th right now in his 33 truck.
It's one of the big stories already. Our chase leader and our championship points leader, William Byron, a 5-time winner this season, already in the garage. Got loose underneath Ben Rhodes and got into the wall. We also saw the 11, Matt Tifft, come to pit road for an unscheduled pit stop. Hermie.
And here it is, Vince. Loose left rear lug nuts. You can see the wheel was loose. All of the holes here, all of them are a little bit oblong. They're not completely round. That's what happens when it starts vibrating, when the lugs are left loose. The mystery here with the 11 pit is the fact that that was the first time they had come down pit road when they pitted for 4 tires. So these tires are the ones they started the race on. But you can see loose left rear wheel cost the 11 truck.
What a great story. Matt Tifft, July 11th, or July 1st, I should say, underwent very serious surgery for removal of a brain tumor, a benign brain tumor. And here he is a couple of months later, and he's racing at a professional level here in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Just an unbelievable story.
It's one of the best stories of the year as far as I'm concerned, and I was so happy to see that young man down in the garage area yesterday and today.
What about the job he was doing? He was up in the top 10, running in the 8th position when he had to come to pit road for that loose wheel. Hopefully a couple of cautions, maybe a free pass, and get back in this thing.
Look at that battle for 12th. Tyler Reddick and Timothy Peters. Peters in on points. Reddick needs to win to get in. Reddick 13th, Peters in 12th. You see Peters there in that red and white number 17 truck, and right in front of him is the 00 of Cole Custer. Boy, how his fortunes have changed in one race. Last race at the tail end of that at the road course in Canada, he was this close to winning and locking himself in, and now he's back in the pack running 11th.
Well, and it all changed, and I know in his opinion, because he got crashed by the 8 truck of John Hunter Nemechek. John Hunter's running just ahead of Custer here, so these two can't seem to get away from each other. They started side by side. They both raced up toward the top 10. They're running 10th and 11th, and right now Custer has a faster truck than the 8, so it'll be interesting to see how they battle this out.
A lot of talk in the garage area was that the 00 was one of the fastest trucks in race trim. He hasn't been able to show it thus far tonight, but he's trying to make the move on the 8 right now.
On the last lap in Canada, the roles were reversed. The 00 was leading the 8. The 8 knocked him out of the way and took the victory away. Now here they are side by side, but this time, Phil, they're not in a sharp corner running 50 miles an hour. They're over 170 on a super speedway.
They haven't been able to get away from one another all weekend. Their teams were parked next to one another in the garage. They qualified next to one another, had to ride around on the pickup truck at driver intros around the track together. And here they are again, side by side, Custer and Nemechek.
Yeah, and when they were riding around on the pickup truck, John Hunter seemed loose and relaxed and was trying to talk to Cole. Cole never looked at him. He just said, all right, I have an opinion of what happened in Canada.
I have to ride in this truck, and I'm going to do it.
And here he makes the pass, gets around Nemechek.
That's for 10th.
You can see John Hunter slipping a bit in the corners. Looked like he got a little bit loose there.
Good look at the 98 of Rico Abreu running 15th. Battle for second now. Kyle Busch putting the pressure on the 23 of Spencer Gallagher.
Yeah, Suarez opened up a little bit over a second lead over Gallagher. Now looks like Kyle Busch is going for that spot and has it.
Look right behind them, the 05 of John West Townley. He's been able to run right with Kyle Busch and Gallagher, and now he's going to challenge Spencer. Townley got a terrible start on the initial go, but then on the outside the second time around, he made up ground, and now he's trying to make up more.
Keep an eye on that caution clock. We're down inside of 5 minutes.
You could see the 05 get really loose there. Hope he can hang on to it down here.
Gallagher and Townley battling for third. They started on the front row together tonight. A long way to go. A lot left to take place. Pit stops maybe just ahead from Chicagoland. 42 laps in at Chicagoland Speedway. Daniel Suarez continues to lead in that 51 machine for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Our caution clock inside of 2 minutes. So pit stops coming either via yellow or via the caution clock. Mike, how about this situation between Tyler Young and Austin Wayne Self?
Well, they're both fighting to stay on the lead lap. There you see our leader, Daniel Suarez, pressuring them, but it almost cost both of them dearly because of the fact that the 02 of Tyler Young, he squeezes the 22 down in the corner, doesn't give him much room to run, and there it is. The truck to the 22 gets loose and almost wrecked them both.
That's exactly what you said at the very top of the show. When you get these two trucks together, we saw it with William Byron. He was on the inside. He got squeezed a little bit by the 41 of Ben Rhodes, and around he went into the outside wall.
And if Self would have gone around that time, he could have very well collected the leader, Suarez. Inside of a minute now, the caution clock. When it expires, the yellow will wave, and we'll see pit stops.
And it'll be interesting to see how these pit stops mix up our running order. We've had a pretty smooth sail up front for Suarez, Busch, Townley. Those guys have been solid. But then you think about a guy like Cole Custer, who's raced up into the top 10 from a starting position back in 17th. That means he's got a fast truck. He gets a good pit stop and adjustment. We could see the complexion of this race really change.
Remember, these guys are only going to get a couple, maybe 3 opportunities to work on these trucks, so they really have to make the most of it.
It's a good place to gain positions on pit lane, avoid the penalties,
Another
have a
strong
good
run.
pit stop.
Excuse me, Vince. Another strong run by Ben Kennedy. He's raced up inside the top 5. He's currently running 4th, closing in on the trio of leaders. He's got the Weber.com truck. You can go to Weber Grill downtown and eat if you like. So great seeing the local companies and a national company like Weber here involved.
Caution clock expires.
You might wonder why the 9 is back on the track, locked into the chase. I think that was just crash repair damage practice. You know, they need to know how to fix that thing in a hurry. Points can come into play in a big way in our chase, and that's just some good practice. He hadn't made many mistakes this year. That's a great chance for Rudy Fugle and those boys to orchestrate repairs and try to get it done as quickly as possible.
That was about a 40-lap repair for those guys.
Yep, Rudy said it was going to be a dress rehearsal. Sometimes dress rehearsal isn't just for on track, off track, in the garage as well, potentially.
Yeah. Like I said, Williams been so good all year. That team hasn't had to get in a situation like that, and so that was a chance to work on getting that thing fixed and back on the road. That could be the difference in making the next round and not.
You saw the 22 truck of Self. He gets the free pass on this caution. The caution clock in effect here for the 13th time this season. The first year that the caution clock has been a part of the sport, and certainly created some additional drama and suspense and opportunity. And we're going to see it now. Pit lane is open. Trucks are diving down, looking to make stops, and Hermie Sadler is going to be first.
John West Townley started on the front row, dropped back to 6th on the initial start, drove his way back up to 3rd. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel, 2 rounds of wedge out of the left rear. The 05 is a little bit too snug. Caitlin.
Well, Kyle Busch is always so strong on 1.5 mile racetracks. He told his team, I have no front steer. I can do what I want with the steering wheel, but the tires don't do anything. They're going to do 4 tires, fuel, and an air pressure adjustment, as well as a round of wedge for the 18. Now taking a look at the 51 truck of Daniel Suarez at the bottom of your screen. He told his team he's still a little bit tight on center exit. They're also going to make a track bar adjustment, 4 tires for the 51.
Tire loose and rolling across pit lane.
Yeah, that
no one hit that. Could have been some damage to one of those trucks.
That'll result in a penalty for whoever's tire that is for an uncontrolled tire.
Kyle Busch won the battle off of pit road.
There's a tire.
Custer.
Cole
Right,
Custer.
right. There you go. All green.
We're
All
hearing
green.
that
You
might
can
have
back
been
it down now. Do not
Timothy
speed
Peters' tire.
47 laps in at Chicagoland Speedway. Under caution. Will be going green next time by after the first round of pit stops because of the caution clock. The 23 of Spencer Gallagher having to come back down pit road. Let's find out what's happening there. Caitlin?
Yeah, Vince, they also had a slow stop prior to that. The gun got jammed while the right rear tire changer was trying to take that right rear tire off, and then they realized they had to put another lug nut on that they left off, which is why he came back down pit road a second time.
We talked about not making mistakes on pit road when you're one of those teams that needs to make the chase, needs to win to get in. You can't afford mistakes.
You can see there's a delay on the right rear. They're waiting to finish up back there. So this pit stop is extremely slow. They're going to lose a lot of track position anyway. And if they had any doubt at all about that left front tire and wheel being tight, it's really smart just to come back. They're already in the back anyway. And you can see there, he wasn't really anxious anxious over what happened, but just felt like maybe safety would be
Guys,
better.
we got to do better than this on pit stop. This is ridiculous.
So there's the issue with the 23. Also the 13 of Cameron Haley penalized for equipment being removed from the box. Their fuel can got stuck, and the 17 of Timothy Peters penalized for uncontrolled tire.
All three of those guys trying to race their way into the chase.
On the restart, Kyle Busch on the outside, John West Townley inside, back green at Chicagoland Speedway.
We saw John West struggle on the inside on the initial start. He's struggling again. Suarez takes advantage. See Matt Crafton looking to the inside. Great stop by that team, Phil. They picked up 4 spots on that pit stop and got him right up near the top 5.
How about that wiggle by Christopher Bell, who's up now to the 3rd spot?
Johnny Sauter into the 2nd position as you see 3 wide with Suarez, Townley, and Reddick back there 4th, 5th, and 6th. So Kyle Busch in the lead with Johnny Sauter 2nd and Christopher Bell 3rd. Suarez in that orange 51 machine and Reddick going around him for 4th. Suarez coming back on the inside.
Yeah, give these guys a few laps till their tires get some heated, and then we'll see what kind of adjustments these crew chiefs made and how they helped or not.
Well, we've already seen a big swap in who's running up front. Kyle Busch is leading the race. Johnny Sauter, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. Now they're in the top 5. So teams did a good job on pit road, including Matt Crafton. You see racing on the inside of John West Townley there, exiting turn 4. Crafton's getting a push from behind. That's the 19 of Daniel Hemrick giving him a push. Got a great view of this. Watch these trucks bounce around as they go around these corners. Looks like Crafton's got a really good handling truck. You can see him really sprint through the middle of the corner, but just couldn't pull that pass off.
See, upwards of 180 miles an hour as Daniel Hemrick drops off into turn number 3.
Down to that bumpy end of the racetrack. Off of 4 down the straightaway. On board with Hemrick, keeping a close eye on Matt Crafton.
Talk about the adjustments, Phil. Someone with the experience of Kyle Busch. Remember, he didn't drive that truck at all yesterday in practice. It was practiced by Eric Jones, and now Busch is in it. Got to get to pit road and make an adjustment. He knew just what to call for. He's driven out ahead of these guys as they battle for the 3rd spot.
I've been really impressed with the speed of that 29 truck of Tyler Reddick since this restart here. Now all the way up to the 3rd spot.
Boy, another wiggle from Christopher Bell, and Townley goes by him. Now his teammate Suarez on the inside of the 4 truck. Matt Crafton maybe going to follow as well. Looks like Christopher Bell's got his hands full.
And Phil, we talked about the job that Tyler Reddick does hanging onto a loose truck. If he's fading back because it's loose, it must be crazy. Get it adjusted a little bit, he can go. He could be a story tonight.
Matt Crafton on the move since that good pit stop.
He's going to take that spot away from Suarez. Talked to Crafton in the garage area this morning. Loose as a goose. Feels good about his truck. Feels great about this championship run he's fixing to go on. I love his attitude.
How about the dominant truck early on, or one of the dominant trucks, certainly with Daniel Suarez now moving back. Lost 2 or 3 spots here recently, all the way back to the 6th spot.
Yeah, Suarez has led a race high 36 laps, but having your truck in clean air and having it back in the pack, 2 different things. But Suarez taking a peek inside of the 88 of Crafton. Crafton comes down on him a little bit, cuts it off.
Oh, and look, it gets him loose. That's the way the air moves these trucks around. They're so boxy. The air really gets disturbed when other trucks are around you. Makes them hard to hang on to.
Especially when they go through those bumps over there, especially in turn 3 and 4.
Crafton and Suarez battling for 5th with Bell and Cole Custer right behind them.
This could get a little bit aggravating for Matt Crafton, the way they're racing each other. Now they're going to go 3 wide with Custer to the bottom.
Wow. On board with Cole Custer. That's Suarez to his right.
See right now, Cole Custer, top of your screen, 9th in points, down below the cut line for the chase.
And Custer has to win. Points mean nothing at this point for Cole Custer.
No, he's got to get to victory lane, and he knows that.
But he's solid, Phil. He's been able to race up to battling there for a top 5 spot. Started back in 17th, so could be a truck that's going to get better as the night goes on too, after they make an adjustment or 2.
Townley and Reddick fighting over 3rd.
Yeah, Townley just took that 3rd spot from Reddick. Townley's been strong since the start.
John West missed a couple of races. with concussion-type symptoms, but he got a medical exemption, so even though he's missed races, he wins this baby. He could be a part of our chase.
Well, the 05's been an interesting story with Townley this season. They showed speed. They won last year on the 1.5 miles at Las Vegas and really expected them to come out and challenge, certainly for a chase position this year, but it's the team that just hasn't been able to find its way for one reason or another.
Yeah, they were top 10 in points last year, finished 8th, had a great year. You mentioned that win at Las Vegas. They had a crew chief change in the middle of the year. Michael Shelton, longtime crew chief, former championship crew chief with James Busher, left the team to go in business of his own, and James Villeneuve took over.
You can see right here, Reddick is really heating up Townley. He likes that high groove. You lose a little bit of time in the middle of the corner when you run the longer radius, but man, you can really gain on the straightaway. You get it wound up more and close in. You see Townley off the track there trying to break that draft away from Tyler Reddick.
There's the leader, Kyle Busch, the only driver to win multiple Truck Series races here at Chicagoland. He's won 4 times. Johnny Sauter running second. Sauter clinched his spot in the chase the first race of the season. He won the season opener at Daytona. Right now he chases Kyle Busch. Get more on the 21 with Hermie.
Vince, they've done a pretty good job. They started 16th up to second. Been solid on the racetrack. Really good on pit road so far tonight, but still cannot catch that 18. Here's some Sauter radio.
He just kills me off the corner. Turn 2, he just annihilates me. On 2, yeah, that's the only place on the whole track is out of 2.
So off 2 is the issue. Sauter a little bit tight right there, so they'll come in next time, maybe try to free Johnny up a little bit to try to enable him to keep up with that 18.
Take any solace in the fact of that 21 or others when you're looking at Kyle Busch getting off the corner better than everybody else, that you're not going to have to deal with Kyle once you get to the chase?
Yeah, I think so. But I was talking to some of the GMS guys down in the garage area today, and I said, how's your fleet? They have 4 trucks there. He said, well, Johnny's truck's pretty much junk, but they made a lot of changes, and maybe they'll make it better. And man, have they.
Credit crew chief Joe Shear Jr. As you look at Spencer Gallagher working his way inside of Christopher Bell for 13th.
Bell's struggling tonight, Vince. That truck's been loose. He's been sideways a couple of times, losing spots. Restarted up near the front and all the way back to 13th.
Yeah, talked to Jerry Baxter, the crew chief for that truck earlier this afternoon, and he was really happy with the way their truck had handled through practice. Thought they had a real good piece for tonight. It still might end up that way, but it's to be a bit of a handful for Bell here at this stage of the race.
You have to remember, and these guys are used to it, and they do it a lot when we practice during the day and race at night. Most of the popular opinion is that the racetrack will free up, and that may be what the track has done, but it's caught a lot of our guys that we thought were going to be really, really strong off the pace a little bit.
Custer taking 5th from Suarez. How tough is it for a guy like Cole Custer to have to come back from what he endured at Canada in our last race?
And this is an 18-year-old kid, too. This is not somebody that has a whole bunch of years of experience, but I talked to him in the garage area. He had a great attitude. He knows what he has to do. He knows that he has to go out and win this race. What happened 2 weeks ago at Canada is over with.
I think this team is really focused and ready for this battle tonight. They've raced up all the way inside the top 5, so obviously it's a fast truck. Another pit stop or two, Phil. You never know what could develop.
One of our championship contenders, Timothy Peters, with a problem on pit road.
His right front is down.
Yeah, right front flat, it looks like. Maybe just barely scraped the wall. Caitlin, what are they saying?
Well, they're saying just that. They blew a right front tire. Obviously, this is one of the teams that couldn't afford to have a mistake going into today's race. They were in the chase based on points, but they're down here now trying to repair those tires and get back out on track.
Peters came into this race in that 8th and final playoff position on the bubble, and the contact.
Oh, he got loose there. Ran out of racetrack, got into the outside safer barrier off of turn 2.
Look at that debris. I'm surprised we didn't catch a caution there. That would have been a big break for Peters.
Attempted to make some repairs there on that right rear, get the tires changed, and back out goes Timothy Peters. And you see the points differential at the top. He's still got a little bit of a cushion, a 15-point advantage over Cole Custer. Nearing the halfway point at the regular season finale. The battle for those 8 chase spots up for grabs at Chicagoland Speedway. While there's drama about which drivers make the chase here in the Camping World Truck Series, there's been no drama at the front during this portion of the race. The 18 of Kyle Busch stretching it out over a 2-second advantage for Kyle. Johnny Sauter running second.
Trouble for Timothy Peters again, guys. He's come to pit road. This hole gets much deeper, and Cole Custer can start thinking, maybe some points get me there. Nah, it's not going to happen.
I don't think he can do it point-wise. Timothy needs to stay on the racetrack, though.
Don't cut it down again.
I think maybe a fender rub.
Cut that. That's what it sounds like.
Cut that right front tire. There you see on the right side of the screen, Cole Custer closing in
Damn hammer over here.
on John West Townley for the 4th spot. Custer continues to run some of the fastest laps on the track, Phil. Could be the best truck out there right now, and he's closing in on the 3rd spot here. But then more importantly, his lap times lately have been faster than our leader, Kyle Busch.
I love the fact that Marcus Richmond obviously made a change that the truck really liked in that young driver as he goes by the 0-5 to take over 4th.
How frustrating must it be knowing that you've got a truck like this and you've marched from the back of the pack and you look way up ahead on the straightaway and Kyle Busch is up there. One of the best ever, probably the best ever to race one of these trucks.
I think you say, give me one more shot at it. Give me one more shot for Marcus Richmond to do his magic. We'll restart around each other because the clock's running down. We only have 6.5 minutes till the caution clock will run out again. They're going to get another chance to work on these things.
Now, despite the fact that Cole Custer is 9th in points, Timothy Peters is 8th in points, and we see that advantage shrinking because 2 drivers are out of the race. Custer cannot get in on points. He cannot go past Timothy Peters on points, so Cole Custer has to win no matter what kind of problems Peters has. Let's find out more on Custer's situation with the crew chief, Marcus Richmond. He's with Caitlin.
And Vince, they've been running in the top 5. And Marcus, what is Cole saying about the truck, and how are you feeling about his race so far here today?
We moved forward really well tonight. The Haas Automation Chevrolet is good. Cole's done an awesome job. We're a little tight off, but we'll get clean air. We feel like it'll be a lot better. So just got to execute the rest of the race.
Thank you, Marcus.
Marcus can get the job done on that pit box, can he? He knows the adjustment that young man needs, and he has got a fast truck here tonight.
For second, Tyler Reddick going past Johnny Sauter. Reddick has to win.
And last time by, Vince, Tyler Reddick ran a 31.85 seconds. Kyle Busch 32.10. That's a quarter of a second better than our leader, and then he drove around Johnny Sauter on top of that.
That was a pretty good lap for him.
Yeah, I like it.
Cole Custer's moved in there. He's in contact with these guys in 2nd and 3rd right now.
Reddick won twice last year. He's a driver that there's no way I would have guessed that he wouldn't have won a race by now in this season. Expected, he finished 2nd in the championship a year ago with a couple of wins. Really thought Reddick could have been in victory lane by now.
Without a doubt.
He drives that thing right on the edge of control, too. He can get it done.
What's happening down there in the 29 box, Hermie?
Well, Vince, Doug Randolph is the crew chief for Tyler Reddick. You guys started up front, lost on track position. Now you have it back. What kind of an adjustment are you away from having this 29 have a chance to run up front?
Well, we were a little loose at the start of the race. We got it tightened up. Tyler's running a lot better in traffic now. He's doing a great job out there. This caution clock's going to come out at a very interesting point in time in this race for everybody, so it'll be fun.
That's Doug Randolph. Maybe one adjustment away. It's win, and you're in for the 29.
I think what he's talking about here, we've got about 4 minutes. These guys are lapping a little bit over 30 seconds, so we're looking at about 8 more laps. So somewhere around 89 or 90, that leaves about 60 laps to go, which is probably just outside the pit window, guys. Probably.
But we saw last year's race come down to fuel mileage when some guys ran out, right?
Yep.
Strategy.
Sure.
Back to Chicagoland.
The 29 of Tyler Reddick, 4 tires, fuel, and a track bar adjustment. The 05 of John West Townley, 4 tires, air pressure adjustment and fuel. A little bit of trouble on the left side for John West Townley. Caitlin.
Well, Cole Custer at the bottom of your screen is in a must-win situation. He's told his team he's tight center off, loose end. They did 4 tires fuel and also a wedge and air pressure adjustment to the 00.
Kyle Busch was the first one off pit road, so he'll retain his advantage. But a break for some of these drivers, especially teams that needed to work on their trucks.
Yeah, it gives them an opportunity to work on it. We saw how much better Tyler Reddick was and how much better Cole Custer was after their first pit stop. Gives these crew chiefs another opportunity to work on them.
Here's why we're under caution. For the second time tonight, it's the 9 truck of William Byron into the wall. They repaired the truck 40 laps off track and then repaired it and brought him back out. And then you'll see him on board here, the 29 of Reddick. Saw Byron into the wall.
Well, guys, we're hearing that the 00 was speeding on pit road. Will have to serve a penalty, go to the back of the tail end for speeding on pit road.
Too late to make a mistake now.
Oh, wow.
Can't overcome that, I don't believe.
Custer was running second, too fast exiting. They've added more speed zones on pit road this year, so you got to be extra careful. And Cole Custer gets caught speeding.
Yeah, there were
last section.
There were 8 speed zones last year. Vince. This year there's 14, so nearly double the amount. I believe if I'm this team, what do you think? Come in, put some gas in it. You're going to start in the back anyway and roll the dice.
Might as well. It may let. Nah, I think we're going to see another caution clock. So I don't think trying to make it to the rest of the way is going to do it, because the caution clock is turned off with 20 to go. And right now, guys, we have 45 laps to go. We'll get restarted here before too much longer.
45 until we get to 20. I mean, there's 65 laps
we get to
remaining
20
in the
to
race.
go, exactly. So I think there'll be plenty of time for the caution clock to come on again. So topping it off with fuel now is going to give them no advantage.
Still just a terrible penalty for the 00 of Custer, considering where he was running. Very untimely.
I'd call it the death penalty, because I don't think he'll be able to overcome this. To win, he can overcome this possibly and have a decent finish, but for him to win with Kyle Busch up there running like he does, he can't be that much faster than Kyle Busch.
No, if on the first pit stop you make a mistake, you might rebound from that, but not this late into the race. He was in a battle off of pit road, racing alongside of Tyler Reddick and just ahead of Matt Crafton. I wonder if he just pushed a little bit too hard, and whether it was really necessary or not, where he was on pit road when they exited.
Let's take a look at the race off pit road here just a few moments ago.
Outside, all the way downward head. 3.
You see, he was behind Reddick anyway. You have to kind of watch whether you got anything to gain or not by pushing it.
It didn't look like he really stabbed the throttle to try to squirt ahead of him or anything, so it might have been by a tenth of a mile an hour. Who knows?
Just past the halfway point at Chicagoland Speedway, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Having fun tonight here at Chicagoland Speedway. Going to ramp it up on Sunday, 2:30 Eastern. The NHRA from Charlotte. We're going to be going fast.
Wicked fast.
Mash it and go. We're about ready to mash it and go on this restart. Kyle Busch and Tyler Reddick on the front row. The green flag waves, and we're racing again at Chicagoland. 62 laps to go.
It appears so far that outside line just has a big advantage, maybe getting better grip on those rear tires. Keep an eye on that, because we haven't seen anybody make it off there.
Well, Kyle Busch is pretty good on restarts.
I'll give you that.
And that was him that time.
I think it's the first start we've seen, or restart we've seen, where that truck on the inside lane didn't get swallowed up by the second row on the inside.
Exactly right.
Yeah, that truck is fast. That's Reddick. You can see him running way high in the corner there, but I think he's got something for Kyle Busch.
Reddick kicking up the dust. How about the 88 of Matt Crafton starting to make his presence felt, battling Johnny Sauter for third. A couple of veterans.
And they're 3 wide behind them.
Oh, yeah.
On board with Reddick, looking back at Crafton and Sauter.
You can see Johnny giving Matt Crafton plenty of room down there. Looks like Johnny's going to get that spot as they get down towards turn 3.
Reddick running second. Boy, they brought all the latest and greatest updates on that 29. Everything they took it to the wind tunnel, everything they could do to polish it up and make it as fast as they could make it and make it a championship caliber contender and a race winner tonight.
That's a pretty darn good one too.
Oh, that's
Christopher Bell.
Bell
Saved it somehow.
You got put in a tough spot there.
Yeah,
Those guys have been 3 wide for 2 laps. Great save by Bell.
Just now outside the top 10. That's Cameron Haley he's racing along with. Remember, he had a penalty on the previous pit stop.
Look at this Bell between the 41 of Rhodes and the 51 of Suarez.
See how close Rhodes was to him. That really just takes all the air off that rear spoiler.
Watch it from the 19 of Hemrick.
One back, you see the 3 wide there.
That was a huge
There
save
you go.
right
He
there.
didn't crash, he tried, all clear.
He didn't crash, he tried.
That's just a rookie, a young kid getting better and better. These high-speed racetracks, a lot of times, until you get put in that position, you don't know what your reflexes, what you need to do to save it. He proved there that he's getting a good feel for that.
Rhodes taking 8th away from Suarez. Hemrick, Haley, and Bell chasing.
I was talking to Chad Kendrick, Daniel Hemrick's crew chief. He said, you know, we realize that all we have to do right now is finish 22nd, regardless of what Timothy does. And Timothy obviously has had enough trouble that that's probably not going to happen. So I think right now that 19 is solidly in this chase.
The 21 of Johnny Sauter running 3rd. More on his night with Hermie.
They freed his truck up, trying to get him more speed to run with the 18. He's getting a charge right now from Ben Kennedy, but his crew also has their eye on the radar.
I don't know when this rain's coming, but it's coming. Sure, if we're going to get this whole thing in, we might get half of this run in here. So just be aware of that. Copy.
Right now holding on to see what the weather does. Truck obviously still not to Johnny's liking. He just lost a spot to the 33 right now in the 3rd position.
It's interesting, the weather has been threatening throughout the course of the day, but other than a little bit of an early afternoon rain shower, we haven't had the rain that everyone expected, and we really didn't think we were going to get qualifying in. Ended up sun coming out, we got qualifying in. Worried about the race tonight, but so far it has been dry, and we've got just over 50 to go.
It's been dry and fast too. It's been amazing the lap times these guys have running. Right now, Kyle Busch just ran about a half a second off what the pole was, and that was a new track record.
And the guy that was faster than that, Ben Kennedy, he's really making a statement here in Chicagoland about the 33 team as they head toward the chase. Ben's got some great speed. Watching Rico Abreu there. Rico up to the 6th spot, just ahead of John West Townley. Remember at Texas earlier this year, Rico came within a lap or 2 of winning that race. He was charging and battling for the lead. This track reminds me a lot of Texasville. The grip has gone away. You got to slip and slide. Rico certainly knows how to get it done.
And he normally gets better and better as the race wears on. That's certainly no exception here tonight.
It's the same tire that they ran at Texas, and they'll go back to Texas again in the chase, run the same tire as they will at Homestead. So a lot of the teams, especially those chase teams, thinking about how this tire is going to wear tonight and how the trucks are going to handle on it. It might help them down the road. As you look at that battle for second, Ben Kennedy, the Bristol winner, on the inside. Reddick trying to hold on to the outside.
Yeah,
Stay up there.
Oh, and that's going to give a big run to Johnny Sauter down up on the outside, but Kennedy holds tough on the bottom.
Yeah, Reddick does not want to lose contact with Kyle Busch. He knows he has one goal here. He has to win this race to get in the chase.
Kennedy already in the chase, courtesy that win at Bristol. You just continue to gain momentum. You get the feel of that from that 33 team, that they just keep getting stronger and stronger week by week.
And I love that. That's exactly how you want to race into a chase. Proving you can get it done, Vince, on the short track in Tennessee, but then coming to Chicago on the 1.5 mile and having the speed to grab 2nd position on the track. And now he's running lap times faster than our leader, Kyle Busch.
Last 9 races, only one finish worse than 11th.
Bell and Gallagher, they just keep, it's like a couple of heavyweights, just keep throwing blows. They're right by one another, side by side, trading spots time and again.
That's just outside of the top 10, Vince, in 11th position. You can see flirting behind those guys is Daniel Hemrick, and then Cole Custer has raced his way up to 13th spot.
As you look at our leaderboard at the top of the screen, the drivers whose names are highlighted in green, they've already won a race this season. They're locked into the chase. If their name's highlighted in yellow, they are in the chase on points as we currently run. If their name is highlighted in blue or background of blue, that means they've got a win to get in.
Okay, we may have to contend with this 98 of Rico Abreu here before long. Look at him chasing down his teammate, Hermie, Matt Crafton.
Yeah, Rico Abreu's been a solid night. He needs to instruct to turn better, but he has been working on this truck. His crew has, and he's one of the best at moving around the racetrack to find a better line and better grip. Back at Texas, was in a position to win, using that same type of driving style up in the middle of the racetrack in 1 and 2, more towards the bottom of 3 and 4, but really making his way towards the front. Right now, Rico's up to the 6th position, Vince.
Rico Abreu, one of those drivers that he'll get in anything in race. He's run almost 80 dirt races this year to go along with what he's done in the truck here in the Camping World Truck Series. In fact, during the week in between Canada and coming here to Chicagoland Speedway, won a wing sprint car race at Silver Dollar Speedway out in Chico, California. I mean, this kid gets in it and drives it no matter what. And you get the feel it's only going to be a matter of time till we start seeing him run up toward the front on a more consistent basis.
I'm telling you, he's up to the front right now. He's up to the 5th spot, and he's chasing down Johnny Sauter. I think it's just going to be a matter of a lap or 2, and he's going to drive by Johnny on the high side.
You know, he had a rough outing up in Canada, and that's the sign of a real champion. Go out and make a mistake and have a crash. How do you rebound? How do you come back from that? He's proven tonight that he is up to the task.
He likes these tracks where he can run that high line, doesn't he?
I like them too. It's fun for us to watch. We hear him just barely rolling out of the gas, Phil, and getting down to the bottom. Rico's found out a way to stay in the gas, keep it up high, and he's really fast right now. You know, in our last green flag run, when they threw the green, Kyle Busch drove out to about a 4-second lead over the field. He hasn't gotten away this time. These guys are just a little over 2 seconds behind Kyle, battling for this spot. Rico proves he can do the bottom as well. Really nice move. Clips around Johnny Sauter, and now he's going to set his eyes on Tyler Reddick.
Well, he drove it hard down in that corner, and the truck stuck.
Rico Abreu to 4th.
We're going to have at least one more pit stop now. The caution clock will run out before the 20 to go, where we will turn it off.
And now we've got a caution. Contact. That's the 71 sliding through the infield. That's Josh Berry.
Josh had done a nice job, Phil, remaining on the
leaders in the middle of 3 and 4.
He remained on the lead lap, running strong in that truck. He was 19th spot.
He's going to stay on the lead lap too. He did a nice job keeping that truck rolling down pit road.
Late model champion for Dale Jr. Great racer, and he's proven that if he gets a chance in the trucks, he can get the job done, running solidly up in the top 20.
Interesting. DJ Kopp, who's the team manager for this 71, was telling me DJ used to go over the wall and change tires for Dale Jr. when Jr. drove the Bud car. And Josh Berry was one of the young guys that was gluing up the lug nuts and driving the pit stop car back then. So they've been around one another, known one another for a long time. It's neat to see Berry get a shot here in this 71 truck. Hopefully we'll see more of him in the truck series.
Yeah, he does a tremendous job in late models and did a great job in that Xfinity race last year at Richmond. Was a contender for the win. I think he ended up with a top 5 finish.
Yeah, you see the 71. Not sure what started that, but did come through the grass, and as you said, fortunate no contact. Doesn't look to be any significant damage on that truck.
Well, now's the time here. We're going to have 44 laps to go when the leaders come to pit road. I think we have long enough to go. I'd be a little bit afraid of putting only 2 tires on, knowing that we have about a 40 lap run going here. Caution clock will be turned off.
And there's some guys that have proven they're fast as a leader, maybe even a little bit faster. Rico Abreu, one of them. Also Tyler Reddick. Johnny Sauter's been able to run up there. Matt Crafton's steady. So I think you just get 4 tires, get an adjustment, and try to outrun Kyle.
And guys, no mistakes. You cannot afford a mistake this time, Hermie.
Rico Abreu up to 4th. His truck is tight. When he hits his pit box, it's going to be 4 tires and an adjustment. The 29 of Tyler Reddick. Watch the 29. Crew Chief Doug Randolph is called for 2 right side tires. Caitlin.
Well, Ben Rhodes in that 41 truck at the bottom of your screen, he is one of the drivers in a must-win situation. He's been trying to higher groove as well to try and find a little bit more speed, but he told his team his truck is just still a little bit too tight right now. They're going to make a 4-tire stop for the 41 of Ben Rhodes.
How about that 98 stop? 18.5 seconds. Going to lose some positions with that lengthy stop.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a few guys with just 2 tires on this pit stop.
What do you think of that call?
I don't know. I think you got to take a chance. You got to roll the dice a bit. But, man, there's a long way to go in this race, and this track really eats up the tires.
More than 40 to go. It's going to be tight. It's going to be fun at Chicagoland. Next Saturday, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series heads to New Hampshire. The chase begins next week. Catch all the action 12:30 Eastern on FS1. You can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. First time ever for the chase in the Truck Series. Looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. 8 drivers will make it. 7 races will determine the champion. 4 will be standing at Homestead with a shot to win the title.
And I really love how our chase lays out here. Round 1 is Loudon, Las Vegas, and Talladega. 3 different kind of racetracks. Round 2, Martinsville, Texas, Phoenix. Again, 3 different kind of racetracks, and we finish it off at Homestead for the finale.
Some different pitch strategies during that sequence of stops. Let's check in with Hermie on the 33.
And Vince, we talk about weather being in the area. Most of these crew chiefs think it probably should already be raining by the looks of the radar, but the 33 went with fuel only to get Ben Kennedy up front. We'll see if he can hold on, and how many laps will this race go before the rain hits.
Well, the 33 of Kennedy took fuel only. The 51 of Suarez took fuel only. The 24 of Infinger fuel only. The first truck with 4 tires is Kyle Busch, and he sits back in 9th.
You wanted drama here in Chicago? Let's just use a little bit of strategy to mix things up. We saw how hard these things are to drive on 4 fresh tires. These guys have older tires. That means they're hot. Picking up any marbles or loose rubber on that track, this restart could be intense.
Putting that fuel in the rear, too, putting that rear weight in these trucks makes them harder to drive.
Well, we're about to find out. How does it play out? How does this strategy work? Kennedy and Suarez on the front row, green at Chicagoland.
Look at Kyle down on the apron of the racetrack, going by Grant Enfinger in the 24.
Kyle not wasting any time with those 4 tires, and he is eating them up, getting inside the 29 of Reddick now. Suarez to the point, leads Kennedy. John West Townley and Johnny Sauter 3rd and 4th. But here comes Kyle Busch with those 4 fresh tires.
Phil, they make them the hardest.
Oh, contact.
Oh,
right there in the middle.
Cole Custer was a part of that contact. Look at Matt Crafton drive up on the back of Custer.
I think the 24 of Grant Enfinger got into the 00 of Custer.
At times it's 3-4 wide. There's just no room to work. They were talking about the weather, by the way, and our radar shows that still the rain is a little bit out, so it doesn't look to be imminent at this point.
See a great battle for the lead between Kennedy and Suarez, but it's going to be short-lived because that 18 truck is coming.
Kyle Busch with the 4 fresh tires. The 33 of Kennedy and the 51 of Suarez took fuel only on that last stop, and they're no match for the 18. Kyle Busch to the lead.
Oh!
And a spinner. Kennedy got contact from the 21 of Sauter.
Stay with it. Stay with it.
Big crash.
Stay with it. All right, guys, we're wrecked here. Hang on, Ben. They're still coming. Hold the steering wheel tight. Hold tight.
Ben Kennedy already locked into the chase. Fortunately, because his truck has heavy damage.
Got us there, I mean.
Yeah, contact from his teammate, Johnny Sauter. Certainly wasn't intentional, I'm sure.
Wow, but that's a tough break there to get hit in the back by your teammate.
Look at all the damage to Matt Crafton's Toyota.
I don't know how Matt got away with just that little of damage. He was right in the middle of that.
We were just talking about the fact that sometimes you get 3 wide and there's just no room to maneuver, no work. Somebody could get you from behind. That's what happened.
Think about this, Vince. They don't put tires on your truck. They put gas in it. They put you in the biggest pack of the night where everybody's trying to get more than they have all night long and expected to hang on to it. It's just really, really a tough job, but certainly contact from another truck is as loose and free as those trucks are, makes it really difficult.
Now, what are the chances that it just ends up standing up just like that? That's a full moon, that harvest moon we were talking about earlier tonight, right?
You don't think somebody grabbed it and set it up there, do you?
I hope not. It's a better story that it just ended that way. You see Crafton limping back to pit lane. Let's see where it happens here. There's Sauter, the 21.
I think Johnny just gets a little bit loose and
moves up just a little bit, just a slight bit. You can barely see a mark on the side of that 33 truck. Ben does a great job. If he didn't have any other vehicles, he probably would have been okay, would have saved it. Ben Rhodes came along with nowhere to go, made contact, turned him around. You see the damage that Crafton got. And how about Reddick just barely getting by?
Yeah, a couple of chase contenders, John West Townley and also the 23 of Spencer Gallagher also narrowly escaped.
Yeah, Townley has to just take evasive actions to the bottom. You can see nails the gas, keeps it low, and drives barely past Ben Kennedy. And then Ben Rhodes turns Kennedy back up into the track, and a great job by the 29 truck of Tyler Reddick as well.
Boy, several championship chase contenders narrowly missed being involved in this one. One of those that was hoping to maybe pull out a win and earn a chase spot tonight, Ben Rhodes in that 41.
There's your nose
took
panel.
Some contact, yeah. On board with Cole Custer here in the 00.
Rhodes head back coming. He said, wrecking ahead, middle, high. Whoa. All good. All right, you're good. South.
Barely by. Watch out Reddick misses
back it
this.
down. Come on, high. Come on. Break it up. Come on.
An amazing job. Amazing job by Tyler Reddick.
Look at that contact there that spins Kennedy. And then these guys are running 170 miles an hour, guys, and you don't just turn these things on an instant going that fast. You can see
Ben Rhodes was as low as he could go given the speed he had. He couldn't just drive down to the flat.
Watch Reddick there. Wow.
Turn that thing hard. You could see his hands on the steering wheel. Turn that truck hard left to avoid that 33.
Might even taken a little bit of contact
on
there
that right
the right
side.
Yeah. Now the 33 of Ben Kennedy, that truck is just destroyed. And
it was so fast too, Vince, and we're racing toward a chase. That truck could have been a valuable asset for this team to have to take into the chase. Now that truck is junk.
Piece of debris stuck in the fence. I mean, debris everywhere after that accident. They're going to take a look at the safer barrier here and make sure that that's
see the gouge out of that right there by the Brandt logo.
There, so.
Those guys watching that weather radar down on the toolboxes, the pit boxes, are wondering what kind of a wrench this is going to throw into tonight's action, because the weather is approaching.
And any type of a significant delay really does play into that factor. Michael, that's a great point. They're going to have to do some wall repair here, as you see.
It looks like we're possibly okay for a while. There was a little bit of that in the second ring, a little bit of something that seems to be dissipating.
That's just enough to get on a crew chief's nerves right there. What do I do? How do I manage this?
We're under red, so teams cannot work on their trucks. They can get everything ready. They can look at the truck, evaluate what repairs they might need, but they can't touch it. As you see, there's repair going on the wall there in turn 2, just on the exit of turn 2. They're going to replace about a 5 foot slab.
We only ran 6 laps from the time these guys came to pit road, and three of those were caution laps. So I think right as fast as that 18 truck of Kyle Busch was, he restarted 9th and pretty much drove the lead in about 2 laps. If I'm one of those guys that did fuel only, maybe like Suarez, you think we might wait another 15 or 20 laps to put those tires on and then have the freshest tires on the racetrack?
I think so. You got to mix it up, Phil, and we know we'll have better tires, and that could give us what we need to beat Kyle Busch.
Well, Johnny Sauter got into his teammate Ben Kennedy there in the 33. What are they saying down in that 21 camp, Hermie?
Well, obviously, Vince, the 33 was on fuel only, no tires, but always a you know, tough situation when teammates get together on the racetrack. This was Johnny Sauter after the contact with Ben Kennedy.
He got loose, and I was there. I don't know what happened. I just got loose. I didn't mean to do it. I'm sorry. I don't think we touched him that hard.
It don't take much at those speeds, and obviously we saw there was contact, and Johnny certainly, like you said, Phil, there was no way he would run into his teammate on purpose. These things are really hard to wrestle in traffic, and he just got a little bit free. Ben didn't do anything wrong, gave Johnny plenty of room, and unfortunately Ben got crashed.
Yeah, you see the area where the repairs are going on, and here's the accident. Look at the narrow misses, so many. Some got caught up in the contact, but some narrowly escaped.
Yeah, I don't know how Reddick avoided that here as the 33 slid up in front of him. We're watching it in slow motion right now. Real time, it's amazing the job he did to avoid that.
But if one of those drivers should end up winning this race and securing a spot in the chase, and you look back at this, and it's going to be one of those moments that was a decisive factor potentially.
Look how he almost whipped around and hit the 29 again.
Watch this real time now.
Back it up, come on, back it up, back it up, back it down, back it down, back it down, come on, high, come on, back it up, come on, inside, good job.
If that spotter hadn't said a word, the result would have been the same. Tyler Reddick was going where Tyler Reddick was going. He wasn't worried about stay high, stay high, stay high. He knew that he needed to make a quick move to the middle and get below the spinning truck of Kennedy.
And Ben went up high so quickly there was no time to react for the spotter to even say go low. But just instincts told Tyler Reddick to turn that truck left.
While the wall repair takes place, the drivers catch their breath a little bit as Tyler Reddick has to be thinking about how fortunate he is to still be in the championship picture despite that crash. Under red should be racing again soon at Chicagoland. Wall repair continues at Chicagoland Speedway after a big accident involving the 33 of Ben Kennedy. Gouged the wall there at the bottom, so they're welding on a new plate that will cover that area and keep it safe. So while that repair continues, let's check in with one of the drivers that needs to win to make the chase tonight. He was our pole winner, and he's sitting fifth right now. That's Spencer Gallagher.
Hey, Spencer Gallagher, Phil Parsons up in the FS1 booth. You got a copy?
Mr. Phil, good evening to you, sir. How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing fine up here. Looks like you have a pretty good hot rod down there with that 23 truck.
Ain't half bad, sir. Ain't half bad. Our Chapel of the Flower Chevys had great speed all night long. You know, got to beat those two dang Toyotas sitting up front, but I think if any night's the night to do it, it's this one.
Have you guys been able to make the adjustments that you need to get that thing up front?
Definitely. You know, all night long, my pit crew and my crew chief, Jeff Hensley, has been giving me great effort, making great adjustments. So I think we're due to line up fourth in this restart, so we'll get another swing in up here.
Pretty amazing job avoiding that accident right there. Good job by you, bud.
Oh, don't tell me good job, man. I just closed my eyes and put the gas pedal down, that's all.
Well, that was a good strategy because we're watching the replay of it right now, and you just barely got by there. So sometimes you got to be a little bit lucky, too.
Better lucky than good, Phil. Better lucky than good.
All right, buddy, we're pulling for you. Finish it off.
Will do, boys. Thanks for calling. Talk to you later.
That beautiful wisteria-colored Chevy would look good in picture. How do you intimidate with a wisteria-colored truck? What do you do? Just
you lull them to sleep.
That's right. They just get a calm about them, and then you pounce, and that's what. Spencer's such a great guy. He so much fun to talk to. I love the guys that race these trucks, and he's certainly one of the characters down in the garage area that everybody likes to put a microphone in front of just to see what he's thinking.
There you see the repairs continuing. Let's take a look at this, how the wreck happened. The 21 of Johnny Sauter will get just into the back end of his teammate there a little bit. The 33 of Kennedy, and then it all breaks loose.
Yeah, it takes such little contact to turn somebody around. You're on the edge of control anyway. You see Ben Rhodes came along. He got his left sides all the way down on the flat, doing his best to get out of the way and avoid a 33. Unfortunately, not able to do it, but some great driving by a lot of people to miss this accident. It could have been a whole lot worse, guys.
Well, you hate to see it happen to Ben Kennedy, but it's just what amazes me most is how many people narrowly missed, and people that they couldn't afford contact because they've got to win this race if they're to make the chase. So,
oh yeah, the 05, the 23, the 00, the 29, all guys that have to win this race to get in the chase.
And that would have just taken their chance just like that. And Cole Custer is one of them. I mean, had his heart broken at Canada in our last race, had a penalty on pit lane earlier tonight that we thought really was going to maybe eliminate his chances. And Mike, here he is sitting 6th, still in contention.
We talked about you couldn't make a mistake that late and be in a position to win. That's not true. He finds himself just outside of the top 5. Let's see what he's thinking. Hey, Cole Custer, it's Michael Waltrip up in the FS1 booth. You got a second to chat with us, buddy?
Lead over. Looks like they're getting close at it.
That's his spotter he's talking to. See if we can step back in. Hey, Cole, it's Michael Waltrip up in the FS1 booth. You got a copy, friend?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you've done an amazing job rallying from that pit road penalty you got earlier. In the 6th position, you're in a spot you can still win this race. How's your truck?
We've been fighting a little bit tight off just on exit, but we definitely have a really great truck, and we'll have a shot at it here. It's just it was my fault there getting that penalty, but we're just going to have to fight back for it.
Well, go get them, bud. You've done a great job putting yourself back in a position. Close it out.
We appreciate it.
Good to see them firing up the trucks, putting the driving gloves back on. That's good news because that means we're about ready to go back racing.
It's amazing how calm these 18-year-old kids are. I mean, here he is. He's been out there running 180 miles an hour. We have a little bit of a red flag. He narrowly avoids getting in that incident and talks like he's just sitting there on the couch.
Yeah, just playing a video game.
Well, whenever you visit with Cole, he always seems as calm and cool as he can be.
Yeah, but this is a big night for him, trying to rebound from a mistake he made to get that truck to victory lane. And these racers, they understand how they have to get every 10th of a mile an hour on pit road to put themselves in a position to win. He stepped over the line, but now he finds himself with a chance.
It's been announced that he'll move on to the Xfinity Series next season, drive the Xfinity Series car for Stuart Haas.
Phil, we going to do any pit strategy here? What are you thinking?
I think it's only been 5 or 6 laps, and we know everybody has enough fuel. So I think we're okay. Good news for Timothy Peters, though. He will get the free pass. I think he might have taken the wave around the last time, and maybe the free pass. That may put him back on the lead lap.
Red flag for 14 minutes. They're still finishing up a little bit of the repair, but the trucks are rolling and pit road will be open, so we'll see if we'll get some takers, even though, as Phil mentioned, it's only been 6 laps since they came to pit road before.
One thing may change that is they saw how fast that 18 truck of Kyle Busch was with 4 tires. So maybe the guys that got 2, especially if you got 2 and you didn't have a good pit stop and you're not near the front, might as well come in and put those left sides on now.
Got a few takers, including the 29 of Reddick. I think he narrowly escaped that accident in contact with Ben Kennedy. Let's see what's happening with the 29, Hermie.
Vince, they're going to look at the right side. You guys mentioned maybe a little bit of contact getting through that wreck. You can see a quarter panel going on the right side. In the last pit stop, they only took 2 right side tires, so they're putting their other 2 left side sticker tires on the 29 to take one more shot at victory. Caitlin?
Well, Ben Rhodes and that 41 team, they were in a must-win situation going into the evening, but I spoke with his crew chief, Kevin Bellacourt. They said they're going to try and put a new steel right side onto that truck because of the damage. They said everyone with a fire suit go over the wall and help fix this 41 truck.
Boy, I love the preparation of that 29 of Reddick's team. They had a quarter panel ready to go on. They've got a screw gun. That thing looks like it was made on that truck.
And Phil, that's a really sensitive area on these trucks for downforce and side force. That corner being out any at all could help that truck handling. If it was bent in, we got to fix it. This could be better than new.
See him just taping the seams up. You know, they rely on that quarter panel for side force. And if you can get that thing out a little farther than maybe it was stock, I think it's going to help.
Isn't it amazing? Sometimes you think that the accident might keep you from winning, and then all of a sudden you find out, hey, the truck actually runs a little bit better this way. They want to make sure that they do as much repair as they can and then get him out before the pace car comes, so they don't end up losing a lap. So they go out and maybe have come back and finish the repair work.
Yeah, great job by Doug Randolph and his guys. Looks like he's done. I'm not even sure he'll need to come back in.
That's a great repair. And like I said, a sensitive part of the truck, so it's important that it's right.
And again, just another element to how important it is, what a team it is. It's not just the driver or the crew chief, but those team members that go over the wall, that make the repairs,
Well, remember,
do the pit stops.
Remember William Byron's team repairing. We got 5 wins. We're in the chase. We're the #1 seed. We need to figure out how we're going to be able to fix this truck as fast as we can so we're ready come an accident chase time.
Yeah, Reddick indeed looks like they do have the repairs done that they are going to do. So they'll catch back up to the field. Still cleaning up a bit over in turn 2 where that repair was made to the wall, so not quite ready to go back racing yet.
Looks like they're winding it up now, jumping back in the trucks. Great work by the track crew here.
And you might ask, you know, it was at the very bottom of the wall, what might need to be corrected? You know, why would you have to go out and repair? It's right there at the very bottom. I mean, what could it do? How could it go wrong? But the integrity of the wall, you've got to make sure, especially there in those safer barrier areas, that you protect the integrity of that wall, and ultimately it's protecting the safety of the drivers. Let's check in once again with Hermie.
Just want to update the 88 of Matt Crafton. Had a little bit of damage to the left front nose area of that truck. It came down pit road. Damage not that severe, but NASCAR deemed that the 88 truck crew members touched that truck or tried to initiate repairs under the red flag, and they were going to give him a penalty, go back to the back of the pack again, and they elected to park the truck to not risk it. They want to use that truck later in the chase. So the 88 to the garage and done.
Well, interesting strategy, but Junior Joyner, that just shows how much Junior Joyner, the crew chief, values that particular truck, doesn't want it destroyed. They don't need, you know, they've won twice already this season, firmly in the chase.
NASCAR is monitoring what's going on with the repairs of the 29 truck.
So the 29 is back, crossing the T's, dotting the I's on that repair. 35 laps to go here at Chicagoland Speedway. And again, it's the final race before the chase. The chase will begin next week at New Hampshire. And there are 3 races in the first round of the chase.
Okay, all good.
New Hampshire, Las Vegas, and Talladega. It starts with 8 drivers. 2 will be eliminated after the first 3 races.
How about Talladega as the final race of a round? Anything can happen there.
How do you manage that little run if you're not already locked in?
Just makes it more exciting, more interesting, more fun for us.
Talladega is one of my favorite truck races of the whole season. I mean, these trucks are really fun to watch here at Chicago. We've seen 3-wide action and great restarts and just great racing. We're going to go to the shorter tracks and intensity picks up, and then we're going to let them go at Talladega and see what happens.
Here you see our chase and how it looks right now with Hemrick and Peters as the 2 drivers getting in on points. Loudon, Vegas, Talladega, round 1. Then 6 will move on to Martinsville, Texas, and Phoenix. We'll eliminate 2 more. And then we'll take 4 to Homestead with a chance to win. The driver that comes out ahead of those 4 drivers will be the champion.
And that's how that chase will look if the race ended right now with Kyle Busch up front. And if he can go to victory lane, or even his teammate Daniel Suarez goes to victory lane, or Johnny Sauter, anybody that's won already locked in or not eligible, that's how the chase will look.
And Spencer Gallagher and Cole Custer said, don't show me that breakdown like that.
Or John West Townley.
We still got some work to do, and we're going to get it done. Townley's setting in a great position, restarting on the outside.
So when you look at our top 10 drivers that have yet to win a race and would lock themselves into the chase with a win here tonight, Townley, Gallagher, Custer, Hemrick is there in the top 10 as well, would get in on points, but a win, he'd certainly love to have that.
How about Matt Tift back up in the top 10 after having a loose wheel and making an unscheduled pit stop under green?
This team's really got their stuff together, Phil. He's done a nice job on his first race back.
Teammates on the front row. Kyle Busch on the outside. Daniel Suarez on the inside. Back to green, racing at Chicagoland. 33 laps to go.
Look at Cole Custer jumps to the outside of Townley.
I just hope he didn't jump too soon, Phil. That was really close. You can't pass like that until you cross the line, and he was on the edge of it. He didn't gain a spot.
Townley's going to slide up in front of him. How about Suarez with a lead?
Suarez leads Kyle Busch. Johnny Sauter right there in third, and John West Townley fourth. Spencer Gallagher and Custer get into it, and there's Enfinger getting the end result.
Big damage for the 00 of Cole Custer.
Here, roll.
Custer's truck is smoking from a tire rub.
Unfortunate for Custer. One of those drivers needing to win to get in.
He's going to have to come to pit road.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it looks like that left rear tire.
Hit pit road here, hit pit road.
You can see where the quarter panel behind the tire has been in.
They were battling for the 5th position, and it looked like maybe someone got into the outside wall. It forced.
I thought Spencer Gallagher got into the outside wall with a 23.
Yeah, he loses his nose. That's the aero dependency that he loses. And then Custer makes a move to the inside, and Enfinger was there. Great heads-up drive by Custer not to run over the top of Gallagher, but unfortunately, Grant Enfinger was right there racing with him.
So again, that could have been a lot bigger than it actually was, but definitely Gallagher going to get a little bit of damage on that right rear. Custer got some damage, and of course Enfinger going through the infield.
And just watch this race heat up. This is why these ends of these races are so exciting, because they just have to go right now.
That was an amazing move. Amazing move by Cole to avoid Spencer Gallagher.
Left corner right there.
Because you could see Cole was pushing too. His truck wasn't handling in that big pack. But he's able to somehow wrestle it to the inside of Gallagher. Like you said, Phil, just an amazing job.
Look how sideways that 24 truck of Grant Enfinger is, and he actually never spun all the way around. He ended up straightening that truck back out. He's past 90 degrees right now.
So while they do the repairs on Enfinger's truck, you also have to wonder how much damage was done to Gallagher's truck with that contact in the right rear.
Good.
Wow, this thing was it's gonna heat up. We saw how hard these things are to drive when people are giving each other space. There's no more giving anymore. It's all take.
Gallagher has to win this race to make the chase.
Remember how much smoke we saw from the 00, and he elected not to come to pit road when pit road opened.
He's got to go to pit road.
Thought we heard Marcus Richmond, his crew chief, telling him to come to pit road, but so far he has stayed on track. Oh, it's going to be fun. You know it's going to be a shootout to the finish. Less than 30 to go when we come back to Chicagoland. Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It's the season finale, the regular season finale. The chase starts next week at New Hampshire. You're right on board with Daniel Hemrick, currently 7th, and our Ford Facts. How about Hemrick? 3rd place 6 times this season.
And he's just about to make his way in the chase, and he's got some big news coming about next year in the next few days.
Oh, yeah? That's exciting.
Yes.
The record, by the way, for 3rd place finishes.
All the plans not quite finalized yet?
No, not yet. Not all the T's are crossed and the I's dotted yet, but it's going to be big.
Dennis Setzer, by the way, with the 7 3rd place finishes. Thank you. Get that through there with your breaking news. Let's find out more. We saw that 00 smoking pretty bad in the left rear. What's happening, Caitlin?
Well, Vince, Cole Custer and his crew chief Marcus Richmond were having a conversation on whether to pit or not. Cole did not want to come down pit road. He asked his crew chief, do you think it can just work itself out on its own? It has stopped smoking. And Marcus said, I really think we're going to need to pit, but let's have the 19 truck of Daniel Hemrick assess the back of your truck and see. And Daniel said the quarter panel is rubbing on the tires. So he said, we got to come to pit road and replace those left sides.
Well, he didn't. This is big, I think, because that tire's going to rub when he gets up to speed. We saw it prior to the caution coming out.
So the driver wanted to stay out. The crew chief wanted him to come, and you believe they're making a mistake.
Well, time will tell.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out at about 170 miles an hour.
Custer currently lined up in that 6th position. That'll be Spencer Gallagher on his inside.
If I'm Matt Tift, who's right behind him in the 11 truck, I'm going to try to get to the inside as quick as I can.
I bet you every spotter on that route is warning people about the 00 truck right now. That was a significant tire rub.
Pace car is off. Daniel Suarez and Kyle Busch on the front row. Back to racing at Chicagoland. 27 laps to go. Busch and Suarez side by side. Kyle's won 45 times in this series. Suarez has never won a Truck Series race.
There's that tire rub again.
Yeah, Custer smoking bad. Custer's got his nose right up in there as Sauter now comes up to go side by side with the 00.
It won't make it another lap, Phil.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be anywhere around that truck right now.
You don't have a choice, though. You've got to go right now.
Townley right up behind the 00 of Custer.
I think that's the tire going down.
Caution is out.
Wow, he got lucky there because that tire was going flat.
Yeah. Got some contact in turn 2. And as you said, Cole Custer maybe dodged a bullet. Wow.
That's putting it all on the line, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah.
He felt like his best chance to race into the chase was to stay out. I think he's got to come to pit road now.
And he was probably right, but I just think that tire rub is too bad, and I'm not sure that tire's not going down now.
Well, no matter
Left
how
side tire, no fuel, fix the left rear corner.
We're going to come fix it.
no matter how much you want it to not rub and go down, I mean, the bottom line is it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come address it if they are going to.
I think they got very fortunate the caution came out.
Yeah, no doubt. We had a couple trucks get together off of turn 2.
Under caution for the 7th time, ties the record here at Chicagoland Speedway for the most cautions. Travis Quapple gets the free pass on this caution.
7 caution flags gives a lot of people a second chance, doesn't it?
Sure does. That'll be 24 trucks on the lead lap.
The truck we saw spinning to bring out one of our cautions earlier, Josh Berry, he's rebounded and he's running the 17th position, so that's been a real solid run for Berry. Tommy Joe Martin's up in the 15th spot.
So way off in the distance there, kind of toward the tail of the line, up in the upper right-hand portion of the screen, up against the wall.
Is that maybe Ben Rhodes?
Identify
41 truck?
It was the 41 of Ben Rhodes, got up in there. It's been a tough night for Rhodes. He was involved in that earlier incident. Ben Kennedy got into the side of it. Now Custer has come to pit road and they're repairing and changing those left side tires.
We're going to have about 20 laps to go when we restart this race, and he will have certainly the freshest left side tires on the racetrack.
Another truck we saw doing a lot of repair work earlier, Phil.
Good.
Tyler Reddick, he's into the top 10. So a lot of guys rebounding here tonight. Matt Tift with that loose wheel, he's running 8th.
Got 2 drivers there in the top 5 that get in the chase if they win. Gallagher and Haley. Find out what they do next. Under caution for the 7th time tonight, and they're just about ready to go back racing. They'll have 1 to go this time by, finishing up just a little bit of cleanup on track, getting that taken care of. Ben Kennedy in that 33 involved in that heavy hit and big accident. Kennedy is okay, treated and released from the medical center, so that's great news.
Got a pair of teammates out front, pair of teammates right behind them, Vince.
Yep, how about the 21 and 23? Hermie, how are they working together?
Vince, Johnny Sauter won at Daytona. He is in the chase. The 23 of Spencer Gallagher needs a win to advance. Listen to this radio communication about how they may try to attack those front two.
Tell Johnny to lead us up through there. We're going to go with him. We need to win this thing. Heck yeah, copy that. They look doing good on the restart. You know what we got to do. Hopefully he does too. 23 needs to make the chase. Copy, 10-4.
So they have the conversation about it. We'll see. It may take more than a double team to outrun that 18. We'll see how it shakes out.
Well, the 18 has been fast. Obviously, Kyle Busch has led the most laps tonight, 72. Daniel Suarez right there next to him. His teammates led the second most laps at 43. They have had the two powerhouse machines so far tonight, but a couple of hungry ones right there behind them.
Remember, fresher tires on the 18 of Kyle Busch than the 51 of Suarez.
But look at Cameron Haley climbing in the top 5. There's so many people right there. They can taste this victory, Vince. They know. We heard the team communications there with Spencer Gallagher, Cameron Haley, the guys that have to get to victory lane. This is going to be desperation these last 20 laps.
Kyle Busch will restart on the inside and Daniel Suarez on the outside. Their teammates for KBM, GMS teammates Sauter and Gallagher in row 2. Green flag in the air at Chicagoland, 21 to go. Suarez hanging in there on the outside of his teammate Kyle Busch.
Suarez done an amazing job on those old tires, guys.
Johnny Sauter gets a break, and to the outside goes Gallagher.
And how about Cameron Haley to the inside, and Johnny Sauter gets shuffled out. Sauter in that 21 got shuffled out, and Spencer Gallagher way up high. A little bit of contact maybe with the 51 of Suarez. Gallagher going to second. Haley right there on the inside, and Suarez gets shuffled this time with Kyle Busch still leading.
How about Spencer Gallagher? What a great job by that young man, and Haley as well.
Camping World 20 to go, and they're all chasing Kyle Busch, but second and third, they're two drivers that need to win to make the chase. Cameron Haley and Spencer Gallagher.
Yeah, Suarez is really fading now. Those new tires are really showing up.
Look at Cameron Haley. He takes that second position away. And Phil, we talk about the dominance of Kyle Busch tonight, but there's been plenty of times during the course of this race where he wasn't the fastest truck. And the draft is such a big piece of the puzzle here. Cameron Haley's taking advantage of that draft and pulling right back up on Kyle Busch.
Cameron Haley has finished second twice this year. He needs to win tonight to make the chase. And if he would win, it would knock Timothy Peters out of chase contention.
How about Daniel Hemrick now going for the third spot?
And watch the 29 truck of Tyler Reddick. I talked about him restarting 10th. He's up to 5th right now. That truck is really working well.
On board with Haley, you see how far back that third place truck of Hemrick is. Off in the distance. Haley thinking only about what's out in front of him, and that's Kyle Busch by 0.2 of a second.
It's a pretty daunting task, too, to try to chase down Kyle Busch in any kind of race vehicle. They ran just about the exact same lap time. That last lap within 1/100th of a second of each other.
Tyler Reddick is now up to 4th position. He got around Spencer Gallagher. The two Brad Keselowski Racing trucks, 3rd and 4th.
And John West Townley going by Gallagher as well for 5th place.
Remember Grant Enfinger not long ago sliding through the grass? That's him right there trying to go by Spencer Gallagher.
Unbelievable.
There you can see Christopher Bell closing on the back of that 24 truck. And there's Cole Custer, who was on pit road. He finds himself back inside the top 10.
Custer just won't go away. He's had a penalty. He's had damage to the truck. He had a problem with the left rear tire, and he still keeps coming back to make it interesting.
You can hear how much they're out of the gas. That's why when you see guys moving around on the track, trying to hire a groove, just seeing if they can leave that throttle down a little bit longer than the next guy.
Gallagher down on the apron trying to get back by Enfinger.
Those are teammates there at GMS. Doesn't do any good for Grant Enfinger to pass Spencer Gallagher.
Gallagher back to 6th as Bell gets in front of Enfinger now, and Cole Custer going to take a run at the 24 also.
15 laps to go.
Kyle Busch has opened that lead up to 0.4 of a second now. As you look at the battle between Custer and Enfinger.
Looked like Rico had an unscheduled pit stop, a little bit hot on the entry. I don't know if he was able to get it slowed down or if he was speeding or not. A little bit of damage on the right rear. Look at Johnny Slaughter, like he kind of pushed up the track and racing side by side with his teammate.
That's for 9th and 10th. Caution is out, the 44 of Tommy Joe Martins.
That's a shame. Tommy Joe was running in the 14th position. Somebody wrecked him. I think he said Suarez just wrecked us.
Heavy damage there on the 44. Martins was right there at 14th and Suarez 15th, right in that area. So those two drivers running near one another, and heavy damage for the 44.
Yeah, top 15 would have been a great effort for this team here.
You could see maybe Suarez gets loose on the inside of the 44, pushes him up the track.
A lot of damage to Tommy Joe Martin's truck.
That's a solid run for that team too. It's a shame have it taken away inside 20 to go.
Brings out the caution for the 8th time tonight.
That's what a lot of these drivers feel. I think they needed that caution. It had been decided. It was going to come down to either Kyle Busch, Cameron Haley, maybe Hemrick or Reddick could have gotten there. But the other guys like Custer and Townley, Gallagher, guys that need to get that track position, they're going to get another chance. We see how exciting these restarts are. They're going to get wild again.
Reddick is up there now in the 4th spot, and he has his teammate Daniel Hemrick right beside him for this next restart.
Remember, it was just a few laps ago, Reddick was on pit road working on that truck. Team did a great job getting it repaired, and now he's going to restart in that second row on the outside. That's a really solid place to go at a restart from.
We saw Cameron Haley's truck showing some good speed as he was battling up into position to get that second place spot. Maybe he was losing a little bit to Kyle Busch as the run wore on, but he's going to get his shot at the 18 on this restart. That's all you can ask, isn't it? I mean, you're going to have about 10 laps to go and a shot at restarting on the front row. What are they saying down there about this opportunity, Caitlin?
Well, Cameron Haley obviously sees Kyle Busch straight ahead of him, talking to his team a little bit about the difference between him as a young, inexperienced driver compared to the veteran in the Truck Series, Kyle Busch.
That's the difference between a cup driver and a truck driver. He's good. He's watched by every move.
The driver, you're doing a fantastic job. You're in position for it. You want it more than anybody.
Cameron Haley, obviously one of the drivers here today in a must-win situation, has to win this race in order to move on to the chase, but has to beat Kyle Busch in order to do it.
It's going to be interesting.
You
just got to beat Kyle Busch.
That's all.
How would you like that to be your assignment this summer?
He's won once or twice in this series, hasn't he?
45.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, good stuff. Hey, days before the chase begins at Chicagoland Speedway, Jimmy Johnson and Chase Elliott joined Jay and Dan with Fox Sports Live, where Jimmy was asked to thank a very special sponsor.
So the premise is, Jimmy, that you've just won the race. You won the chase. You won your 7th championship, and now you've got to thank, like you always do, all your sponsors. And one of those sponsors is Shiny Heine. Can you weave it in with your other sponsors?
Sure, you could definitely weave it in. For sure. The Lowe's Chevy was running so good today, and I'm thankful for my Shiny Heine. I'm gonna have a great night tonight. Good time. These attachments are amazing.
I think Jimmy's going to take that home with him. Stay here on FS1, 11 p.m. Eastern to hear Chase take a crack at thanking his newest sponsor. Funny stuff. Plus, Jimmy throws the rookie under the bus. Imagine that, huh? That's what the veterans are for and the rookies. Tonight, Fox Sports Live with Jay and Dan again, 11 o'clock Eastern.
Chase just recommended we weave it right in there.
Yeah. Kyle having a little fun, right?
Got a pace car driver, better have a handful, right, Phil?
Watch that pace car driver look in the mirror. That's how loose Kyle Busch is right now.
Well,
he's been in this position probably, what, 150 times in the 3 major series of NASCAR?
9 times Kyle has won here at Chicagoland. And he'll try to get it done again Sunday by winning the opener of the chase.
Cameron Haley saving a little fuel. Never know
how many overtimes we may have
when you might need it. So it's good to be safe than sorry. And also, just has to be focused on how he's going to execute this restart and gives himself and his team a chance to go to victory lane and race for a championship here in the Truck Series.
Pits are open. See if anybody takes a peek. We don't expect anybody certainly up front to come to pit lane.
Maybe Suarez. Maybe Suarez comes down and gets those 4 fresh tires that he elected not to put on last time. He's going to have probably just inside of 10 laps to go. Might do something with those.
Oh, yeah. We saw Kyle Busch march through the field from outside the top 10. Can Suarez do that?
Boy, tires, such a big factor, as you guys said, when Kyle put those on and the others had none or 2 as far as getting new tires after a pit stop, and Kyle went through them like a hot knife through butter. Suarez getting 4 freshmen, and we'll see what that does. Maybe it leads to Suarez getting his first ever Truck Series win.
This may not have been necessary had we not had all the cautions and all the restarts, but he was fading, so he knew he needed to do something.
Clear on the right side. Give me a thumbs up over there.
Taking a look at that right front fender, making sure he's not getting any kind of a rub.
All clear. No speeding. No speeding.
Suarez has won in the Xfinity Series race, but has yet to win in the Truck Series.
Been close.
Oh, hasn't he?
He's had 4 second-place finishes in the series.
How about the 29 of Tyler Reddick? Needs to win to get in. Hermes in a good position.
Vince, you can just hear the drama increasing with these drivers that have to win and get in. This is crew chief Doug Randolph to his driver.
All that work you've been putting in all year, all comes down to this. Confidence, focus, commitment. You got this, Ben.
There you have it. It's very, very clear. He'll restart 4th, and he must win to advance.
Nice little pep talk. Good time for it. You've got Cameron Haley that's going to restart on the front row. You've got Daniel Hemrick, who's never won in the Truck Series. You've got Tyler Reddick that's got to win to get in. You've got John West Townley and Spencer Gallagher in row 3 that have to win to get in. I mean, it is so tense right now for these teams that know they have to finish first to make the chase.
Yeah, if Kyle Busch wins this race, then we know Hemrick and Peters will lock themselves in via points. But right now, that's certainly not a formality. We've got Cameron Haley. As you mentioned, Hemrick would love to get that first win. I talked to his guys yesterday. No team orders here. It's not like Daniel Hemrick's going to pull over and let Tyler Reddick win this race. He's certainly not been told to do that. If he does it, he's going to have done it on his own.
Well, and Peters that sits on the bubble. It's been a tough night for Timothy Peters in that 17 team, and he sits on the bubble in points in 8th right now. If one of these guys would happen to be a first-time winner, then Peters would be out.
Done a great job building all the drama events as we come to this late restart. Add in there's rain within a few miles here. Let's just throw that out there too to see what these guys are able to do on this last run.
Yeah, it seems like the rain has been threatening all night long, and that just adds to the intensity and the anticipation of what's about to take place.
I just don't see how this can be our last restart either.
You can see these guys getting ready for this last restart here. Tightening the belts one more time.
This is some of these guys' whole season comes down to these last 9 laps. Maybe even career, man. You make a chase, win a championship, can change your whole world.
Kyle Busch on the inside, Cameron Haley on the outside, back to racing, 8 laps to go in the regular season finale.
Watch Hemrick. He's just going to be content to shove Kyle Busch by Haley. It's as good for Daniel Hemrick if Kyle Busch wins. Way better than Cameron Haley.
Haley sits 3rd. Tyler Reddick 4th, and there's John West Townley in that yellow 05. He has shown speed, started on the front row here tonight.
You can see Spencer Gallagher also pushing ahead. Here comes Cole Custer, the guy that won't go away, onto the apron, trying to pass those two.
Custer fighting for everything. He's been down and we've thought out on multiple occasions tonight, and he continues to dig. Custer trying to get 7th.
Remember, he has some fresh left side tires. Cameron Haley takes back over 2nd from the 19 of Hemrick.
No question that Toyota of Cameron Haley has great speed. Can he catch Kyle Busch?
Look at John West Townley. He goes around Reddick. Reddick fights back on the outside.
6 laps to go. Oh! Reddick gets into the back end of John West Townley, and Townley is into the wall. Caution is out.
Lock it down there, bud. Lock it down. Lock it down. Lock.
And John West Townley's chase hopes come to an end.
Really hard.
Got to your quarter panel, bud. Just nudged you.
Really hard racing with Tyler Reddick.
It'd be interesting to.
29.
It's got to be a hard place to spot, Phil. You know, the spotters on the roof, the truck's right there on the inside. They were battling for the 4th position. Look at the damage on the 29. Well, that left front now matches his right rear.
Yeah.
Those were 2 drivers needing to win to get in, both Reddick and Townley. And they were running in the top 5. As Michael said, they were battling for 4th.
Not going to have time to fix that 29 truck. So he was trying to work him on the outside, as Michael was talking about. I think John West thought he was clear and went to move up to the racetrack to get his entrance into turn 1 right. And at this late stages of the race, Reddick wasn't going to back off.
No, you can see John West had him run way up the track. Nothing wrong with that. But don't expect the 29 truck of Reddick to let off the gas. We're past that stage of the race. Watch this. Wow.
Rico Abreu, by the way, gets the free pass on board here with the 29.
I hear you, man. Keep coming. He's an idiot. Keep coming there, man. Good job. BP for it. Austin's out.
Yeah, there wasn't even time for Reddick to get out of the gas.
Down. Once you come back, all good. Caution's out.
Yeah, if he backs out of the gas, Phil, he might get caught up into that wreck. He had to just keep pushing and keep going.
Heavy damage to the 0-5 of Townley, and his season of frustration continues. And such high hopes for this team at the beginning of the season after getting that win last year at Las Vegas. Townley earned a couple of pole positions.
Get the sawzall there, cut it out. You gotta pull that fender. Start pulling that fender. Start pulling that fender.
On pole a couple of times this year, but just have not gotten the results. Only 2 finishes in the top 10.
What if you couple record speed with record cautions, Vince? Does that sound like a NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race, especially as we close in on the chase?
Yes,
makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
A pretty normal recipe there, isn't it? Kyle Busch is going to have to withstand yet another restart here. With this time Cameron Haley will be back up beside him.
You know, and it looked like right before that yellow came out that Haley was closing in on Kyle Busch, and I'm not sure that maybe Haley doesn't have the speed to give Kyle a good strong challenge.
If I'm going to have a 2 or 3 lap restart, I don't believe there's anybody I would rather have than Kyle Busch in my vehicle.
Yeah, but those guys behind him are desperate, and desperate times call for desperate measures. We're going to see Cameron Haley, Hemrick, Reddick, Gallagher, Cole Custer back in 7th, all those guys lined up with one thing on their mind.
Because in a lot of races, you know, if you finish 2nd in a Truck Series race to Kyle Busch, those guys will take it. Hey, we had a good night tonight. But tonight, it doesn't matter.
All or nothing.
You gotta win tonight. 2nd does you no good in relation to making the chase. Caitlin?
Well, I'm with Cameron Haley's crew chief, Eddie Draconis, up here on the pit box. Eddie, what did you tell Cameron to do differently on this restart coming up?
Well, the last restart, you know, the 29 lay back and try to help the 19. Obviously, we have the weaker spot because on the outside, you kind of like don't get a run. So I told him just he's going to do the same game. They're going to have to hang out really tight on the quarter panel, trying to drag them down and just trying to like get that position before we get off of 2. That's the only way. We're definitely faster than the 18. We keep working all night on it. We didn't have a winning truck, and you just never give up. These 13 teams never give up. We got to win.
Cameron Haley in a must-win situation. Vince?
Remember, Eddie Draconis used to work for Kyle Busch.
Yep. Was an engineer for that organization. If you're looking for Jay and Dan on Fox Sports Live, stay tuned. It'll be coming up next here on FS1 as soon as we finish our race here tonight, and we are in the final stages, NASCAR overtime. So we'll have another lap to go when they come by the start-finish line. Now, to explain the overtime rules, there's our overtime line. So once they take the green flag, if the leader gets to the backstretch where that overtime line is drawn, then we will be an official restart, and the next flag, the next yellow flag, would end the race. We'll come back and take the white and then the checkered, but if we go caution, the race would be over. If the leader doesn't get to that restart line before a caution would come out, we'll do it again, and we'll do it as many times as we have to until that leader gets to that restart line under green. Hermie Sadler with Doug Randolph.
Yeah, Doug, you get another opportunity. You restart fourth. What instructions have you given Tyler in any way your teammate can help you in this situation?
Well, Tyler's done a great job all night. Guys on pit road doing an awesome job patching that thing back up. You know, restarting fourth on the outside's where we want to be right now. We just got to make a move. Anything can happen right here. We're in a position that we can take advantage of it. That's all we can ask for at this point in time. And Tyler's got his elbows up and going to try to take anything he can.
This team has fought back into contention. We'll see if they can pull it off.
I know you know this, but expect anything. Some guys are all desperate. The 13, the 29, the 23, they're all right there with you, desperate.
And Kyle Busch being warned of the impending doom, possibly.
He probably had a bit of a clue himself before he got that warning.
I'm sure he can sense it with the drama and the anticipation of what's about to happen here in overtime.
Phil, y'all predicted it at the beginning, that full moon, or the harvest moon, which looks full to me. It's just doing something to these people, and they're desperate to get something done on this restart.
Such a critical restart here, and again, nobody better in our business than Kyle Busch on these restarts.
Remember, if Kyle wins, then Timothy Peters will be locked in to that 8th and final chase position. But if one of those drivers up front there, for instance Cameron Haley, who will do this restart on the front row, if he should happen to win, well, he's going to make the chase, and Peters gets knocked out. Kyle Busch with this restart on the inside, Haley on the outside. It's NASCAR overtime at Chicagoland.
They're formed up nicely on that outside line, a big push, but then Reddick breaks to the inside.
Hemrick to second. Here comes Christopher Bell around the outside trying to make something happen.
Gallagher on the inside in the 23.
Kyle Busch leads. They've passed the overtime line. The white flag will be coming out next, but if we get a caution, it's over. Here comes Kyle through turn 4 to get the white flag.
He has a bit of a buffer. He's got Daniel Hemrick behind him.
One lap to go, the final lap at Chicagoland Speedway. Hemrick taking a look on Kyle Busch.
Remember, Hemrick's in the chase. He's going for the win.
He's going to draft up on the back of Busch as they enter the turn 3.
If Hemrick and Busch get side by side, can Haley pounce and go from 3rd to 1st? Coming through turn 4, the yellow is out, and it will be Kyle Busch winning at Chicagoland Speedway.
Thank you, sir.
The 98 of Rico Abreu spun, and that brought out the caution.
Appreciate everyone's work at KBM, all you guys. Do good stuff. Thanks.
Kyle Busch will win for the 46th time in his NASCAR Camping World Truck Series career. Daniel Hemrick second, and Cameron Haley gave it a heck of a run. Will finish 3rd.
You could see the look on Eddie Dracona's face, the dejection for the crew chief of Cameron Haley.
What a great run by Hemrick late in the going, and that win by Kyle Busch ensures Timothy Peters into our chase. And so that look of frustration on Draconis's face is replaced by all the guys that work on Timothy Peters' truck, because they were able to rally from a couple laps down, finish inside the top 10. They're ready to go chase racing.
A career best 2nd place for Daniel Hemrick. Certainly gives him some nice momentum rolling into the chase. But for Cameron Haley, so close And yet so far, third place for Haley. Never really got that chance to make that final run at Kyle the way he'd hoped after that final restart.
There was fireworks on the track. Now there's fireworks above the track.
168th time that Kyle Busch has gone to victory lane in one of the 3 major series of NASCAR. So he's used to doing these burnouts.
Winning for the 5th time here at Chicagoland Speedway in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Won 4 times in the Xfinity Series here. He's also won in the Sprint Cup Series. I mean, this is his place. Going to have to deal with him on Sunday in the Chase opener for the Cup Series as well. You know that.
You have to deal with him about every time he tees it up.
Tip the cap to Toyota, the 11th win of the season for the manufacturer. And there's Rico Abreu's climb from his truck, and this is what brought out the yellow. An eye on that 98. Here he comes as Self had gotten into some contact and then came back down the track and got into the right front of Abreu.
Looked like at one point Rico had a truck that he might could win this race with, and to end it like that, quite disappointing.
Well, it's fitting. It says rowdy above the door of Kyle Busch's machine, and it was a rowdy kind of night here in the regular season finale of the Camping World Truck Series. And our next race, well, the playoffs will begin. The chase will begin next week, but the first man out is Cameron Haley after finishing 3rd.
Vince, the first words out of the Cameron Haley's mouth were, "You gave it your all, valiant effort, just a little bit short."
Yeah, you know, Eddie Chaconis and the Tire 13 team, we did not have a winning truck at the beginning of that race, and they really battled back. Gave me a great Tundra there at the end. That's why he's a Cup driver, not a truck driver. I have a lot to learn from that guy. We definitely had the faster Tundra at the end there, and he blocked my every move, and it was all I could do. But I mean, overall, great run for our Ride TV Tundra. It was, we tried. We're not in the chase, but we can't say we didn't try.
Solid effort from Cameron Haley, Vince.
You know, with another lap, I think it would have been interesting. It looked like Haley had it rolling and had the momentum going, and I think Kyle might have had his hands full in that if they'd have had to go around one more time.
Well, he'd have had to get by Hemrick, because Hemrick won his first win as well, because he knew he was in the chase.
That's what I think both Hemrick and Haley were both going to be able to make some sort of a run on Kyle, and it's not the way it worked out, though. Kyle Busch takes the checkered flag and is the winner at Chicagoland. Yeah, plenty of fireworks tonight. Stay with us. Interviews with all the chase contenders and competitors when we come back. Kyle Busch parked it. He's in victory lane at Chicagoland Speedway. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series regular season finale and Kyle's final race in the Truck Series this season. Cole Custer, well, he gave it a run tonight, but wasn't able to get the job done. Finished 10th. He's with Hermie.
Well, the truck that passed the most trucks tonight was the 00 of Cole Custer. Fast truck, just too many issues on the racetrack and on pit road. Your emotions as you will not compete for a championship.
Yeah, I mean, it just sucks, but I mean, we had a really great truck. It's the best truck we've ever bring to a mile and a half, so I'm really happy with that. It's just I made a mistake and then put ourselves in a bad spot, and the 23 got in the fence. I was trying to miss him, and then I guess I came down on Grant there, and he got in our leffer and it caused a rub, but just had to fight from the back all the time, so it's just not our night, I guess, but we have a fast truck, so we'll win some races.
That's Cole Custer's solid effort tonight at Chicagoland.
Tough night for Custer, but a great night for Kyle Busch. Caitlin is in victory lane.
Well, Kyle Busch had one of the most dominant trucks all evening here at Chicago. He's always good when he comes here, and tonight he got his 5th Truck Series win. Kyle, what is it about this place that has enabled you to have this kind of success, and how does it give you a boost of confidence as you look towards Sunday in the Cup race?
I don't know. This has just been a really good place for us and KBM over the years, and we've been really fast here, so it was nice to be able to come out here again and keep that speed going with this Sirius XM Tundra. It was just
Really good. I appreciate Eric Jones being here yesterday and working it in for me and everything that he did. But all the work and all the guys at the shop do such a great job. Everyone at KBM Chassis, the guys at the body shop for us that do a really good job too. So can't say enough about Toyota, TRD, JGR engines. This engine ran really good today, so that was nice. And thank Camping World, of course, and the fans as well too. So seems as though it was just the perfect timing. The rain is just starting to spit a little bit here. So all in all, good day, but really important too to see the 9 and the 4 make the chase this year for KBM. So we've got 2 opportunities there to go after a championship, and then also the 13 right there at the end. That's a brand new KBM truck out of our stables, and so that thing was fast. It was hard to hold him off. He was right there at the end. I mean, he was really quick. So good job to those guys and finding some speed in our stuff too.
Congratulations, Kyle.
In 6 starts at Chicagoland Speedway, Kyle Busch has won 5 times in the truck. Here's what the chase looks like. William Byron, it wasn't his night tonight, had contact very early in the race and spent a long time in the garage. Ended up 30th out of the 32, but he goes in with those 15 bonus points, 3 points per win, 5 victories this season.
Yeah, that's almost a half a race here too, so that's going to be a huge when they get to Loudon and on down in this first round of the chase.
The most relieved guy of that group is Timothy Peters. He was the last guy to transfer into our playoffs. He'll start just 15 points out of the championship lead and a lot of racing left to do.
Daniel Hemrick and Timothy Peters, the 2 that made it in on points. Crafton won a couple of times this year, as did John Hunter Nemechek, Christopher Bell, a winner. Johnny Sauter won the season opener. Ben Kennedy won at Bristol. And I wouldn't count out Hemrick or Peters just because they didn't win a race during the regular season portion. They're both capable of winning races in the chase.
Well, the last 4 races, the worst finish Daniel Hemrick has had has been 3rd.
Pretty impressive.
Peaking at the right time of the season and a really fast truck again tonight.
How about William Byron and the way that their night ended tonight? Crew Chief Rudy Fugel said we want to use this as a dress rehearsal for the chase. They had trouble right away. Young driver. Does it affect their psyche at all or their momentum as they go into the chase, or are they able to just pick back up and roll?
I mean, I think you got to kind of question what happened and how did I get myself in that position to make the mistake and crash. That'll be in his mind, but I think that he's surrounded by such talented, smart people, Kyle Busch included, that can coach him through that and get him ready to go championship racing next week up in New Hampshire. So I feel like they'll bounce back from it and it could make the team stronger. He hasn't faced any adversity this season. How the team rallied around him, fixed that truck, and got him back on the road could just make them bond together more.
They tested up at Loudon a few weeks ago. Wicked fast is what I'm hearing.
Yes, indeed. So we'll see how that plays out next week at New Hampshire. Well, a heartbreaker for Tyler Reddick, 2nd in the championship a year ago, but he won't be in the chase this season. He's with Hermie.
Well, Tyler, last year you went down to Homestead with a chance to win a championship. This year, tonight, your team fought and kept coming back, had a couple opportunities at the end. What made the difference on those last couple restarts?
Well, you know, we had to work really hard to get our truck better for the end of the race there, and mainly on restarts, just having more fire-off speed. And just seemed like the tone of the year had continued to take place, just wrong place, wrong time, getting caught up in accidents. Unfortunately, we got a little bit of damage, got behind the 8 ball. We were able to make up some of the track position, but you know, in the closing laps there, me and the 05 got together. Just I ran to the racetrack, I had nowhere to go but the wall, and it put a hole in our nose there. Fortunately, that was enough to take a little bit of speed out of our truck, but we still had a shot there. On the very last restart, being the 13, looked like I was going to have to middle, and he decided to shut the door, and it was enough to get freight trained in the middle. So it's unfortunate that we've had that happen twice tonight, but it's all about getting runs and being in the right place at the right time, and I was just trying to work myself in a place where I could, you know, have a shot at winning the race. So unfortunate where it ended. We were really picking up on something, I feel like, here with what we need in the truck, and unfortunately for Cooper Standard guys and everyone else on board our Ford F-150, I think one more race or 2 we would have had it, but it's okay. We can still win a lot of races from here to Homestead. Nothing can stop us from doing that.
That's Tyler Reddick.
And even though Reddick's not going to be in the chase, wouldn't be surprised to see him win a race in one of these chase races that will yet to be run. Hey, by the way, if you're tuning in looking for Fox Sports Live with Jay and Dan, you'll catch it as soon as we're finished up here at Chicagoland Speedway. And as we look at our chase standings and the way it all shook out with Daniel Hemrick and Timothy Peters getting in on points, and those on the outside looking in. Guys like Haley, Custer, Reddick, Gallagher had a good run for a while tonight, showed some good speed. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those guys that you see there in white that didn't make it end up contending or winning a race in the chase.
Yeah, and those guys, they made it fun tonight. All of them marched toward the front. Gallagher was really, really fast, and so was Reddick. It was cool to see them all challenge and make their way there.
And the young man that's the top seed in the chase is William Byron. He's with Hermie.
Well, Vince, William Byron, you still have a championship to race for, but first, tonight, a couple issues. Took a big hit on the racetrack. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. It was just not our night. I just put myself in a position that I shouldn't probably known better. But you kind of get those things out of the way before the chase, and you try things. So I was just going for it. But fortunately, we get to go into next week and get our trucks ready to go for New Hampshire. So I think we're going to have a really, really good chase, and hopefully we can bring some speed there.
They get bad luck out of the way tonight. He goes into the chase. A little bit of a lead. He'll have a few bonus points to take into New Hampshire, Caitlin.
Well, Daniel Hemrick is officially in the chase based on points. We've been talking about this for a while now. What's it mean to you to be a part of this year's run for the championship?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, obviously, you had to figure out a way to get in first. And as an organization, everybody at Brad Keselowski Racing, we worked our tails off to get to this point. We thought if we could figure out a way to get ourselves in, that we can make a serious run at the championship. Now that we've done that, we can all put our heads down, execute on a totally different level. We can, pay attention to fine detail from top to bottom on these F-150s at the shop and figure out what that little bit is that we need to be able to go, beat those KBM Toyotas. Man, they're really fast, and had a lot of fun there racing with Kyle. But now that we're in, like I said, we can go to work.
Yeah, talking about tonight's race, what was it like from your perspective on that last restart?
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to be smart, knowing the situation, but Kyle and I were able to work really good together, and I hoping we could both clear ourselves into one that could really race for it. And after the restart we got, I thought, okay, I can, see what I can do here, but we're both running wide open. I just couldn't quite navigate the air enough like I needed to get a run on them, and when I got there, I stalled out. So we just got to work on that area of our trucks and figure out what we need to be able to make that next step. But proud of all these guys there at BKR for giving my best career finish here in the Capital Truck Series. It's a good time to get it. I was really proud of these guys, and now we can put our heads down.
Congratulations. Daniel Hemrick closes out the regular season with 8 top 5s. Vince?
Yeah, second place finish. You got to like the momentum that Daniel Hemrick will carry to the chase. Back to Chicagoland Speedway. We'll talk to more of the chasers when we come back. There's the race winner, Kyle Busch. Kyle's going to be in the chase for the Sprint Cup Championship, not the Truck Series Championship, even though he got the win here tonight. But Hermie Sadler's with one of the drivers who is going to run for the Truck Championship. Hermie?
Man, he's got a couple championships in the trophy case, but you'll have to race a different group of drivers this time around, some kids, as well as a few other veterans as well. Does that change the way you approach this championship chase?
No, not at all. Just race each and every race like it's the last race, and just race smart, and just try to put yourself in position each and every one, and hopefully they race you the same respect that you'd race them.
It's Matt Crafton. Not a great night tonight, but he's in solid position heading into this chase, Caitlin.
Thank you, Hermie. Well, John Hunter Nemechek had 2 wins in the regular season, but what's an area maybe you want to fine-tune or make sure you have completely buttoned up as we look towards this chase?
Everything. We have to have everything buttoned up, on our A game, no mistakes, being consistent every week. And if you go back and look at last year, the last 7 races, we had some really good finishes other than Talladega. So I'm really looking forward to starting the chase off in New Hampshire next week, going back to a short track. I still don't have a win at a short track, so hopefully we can get that next week. But I feel confident in all of our guys. We're working hard to prepare our trucks week in, week out. So we just have to tackle the races as they come and be there at the end at each and every race and advance to the final rounds.
Thanks. Best of luck to you, John. Hermie?
Johnny Sauter will also compete for a championship. First time with a chase format with the trucks. Assess how you plan to attack this chase and the state of your race team heading into New Hampshire.
Well, I think as far as the race team's concerned, couldn't be more proud of everybody at GMS, and especially tonight on our Alamo Allegiant Travel Chevy. We struggled a little bit in practice yesterday and got it pretty decent there tonight. And I got to give a call to Ben there. I didn't mean to get into him there. It was an honest mistake. I guess I misjudged it. I had a big run getting into turn 1 there and got into his left rear quarter panel. I hate it for all those guys and everybody at GMS because ultimately it makes them have to work harder. But we're consistent. We've got as many top 5s as anybody, I think, in the series, and really close to top 10s, and we got to win early. So I can't think of a better group of racetracks for us to go down the stretch. I think I've won at 5 of the last 7 racetracks, which doesn't really mean a whole lot. It means a little bit of something for my psyche, I guess. But, I feel really good about the trucks. We've prepared for the stretch, and I feel good about where we are as a team. Pit stops are phenomenal, and we just got to get a Chevrolet a championship here, and I think we can do it.
It's Johnny Sauter. Caitlin?
Well, Christopher Bell, in his first full season in the Truck Series, qualifies for the Chase. Do you feel like that learning curve is behind you and you can really contend for this championship?
I'm really hoping so. I'm really proud of myself for tonight. We kind of struggled with the truck a little bit. We were up and down. We were good at moments and terrible at moments, but we were able to run top 5 and load the truck in the trailer, and that's a big day for us. That's a good day for us. I'm really proud of Jerry, my crew chief. He made awesome calls and gave me a really good JBL Tundra there at the end. So happy with where we're at and really excited to get to Loudon.
Thanks. Best of luck to you. Hermie.
Well, Timothy Peters, you guys came in here and had some work to do, and I guess you probably didn't get it done exactly the way that you'd like to get it done, but bottom line is you got an opportunity to win a championship. So how do you guys rebound from tonight and go into New Hampshire with some momentum?
Looking forward to the reset. Proud of myself as a short track guy and the momentum that we've been on of late. Just glad that tonight's over with. We're in the chase. Thanks to everybody at Red Horse Racing, road crew, garage, the men and women at the shop, Shane. We battled back from adversity tonight, and we come home with a top 10 finish. It just shows how powerful we are, and I feel like that we can be in that Final Four come Homestead.
It's Timothy Peters. Caitlin?
Well, Ben Kennedy joining me now. I know you were involved in an accident in this race this evening. Are you okay, and what happened from your perspective?
Yeah, I'm okay. Bruised up my hand a little bit, so that's unfortunate, but could have been a lot worse. Just we had a really fast Weber Grills Chevrolet for tonight. Especially in the long run, we could really run those guys down. So I was excited for it. I think it was our race to lose tonight for sure. So I think it's hopefully a little taste of what we're going to take into the chase, and we're going to take some of the stuff we liked and throw away some of the stuff we didn't like, and hopefully stay out of silly stuff like this and be there then.
Well, best of luck to you. Ben Kennedy had a win at Bristol, punched his ticket to the chase.
Well, it certainly didn't end the way Kennedy hoped it would, but the most important factor is that he is in the chase with that 6th seed, and he'll have an opportunity to run and compete for the championship.
Yeah, again, I love the way these rounds line up here with the various tracks we have. None of them have cookie cutter tracks. None of them have 2 of anythings in there. They all have 3 race tracks that are vastly different.
And just think about Ben Kennedy, that big victory at Bristol, the strong run he had here. He can carry a lot of positives into this chase.
Well, you see a little bit later tomorrow. I was going to say maybe tonight, but in the East, we're not too far away from tomorrow. But the Xfinity Series here at Chicagoland, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern on NBC. And NASCAR Race Day on FS1 on Sunday as we get ready for the Chase opener in the Sprint Cup Series. Race day at noon, followed by the Sprint Cup Series race, and of course the Chase opener here at Chicagoland Speedway for the Sprint Cup Series. Well, our chase will begin at New Hampshire next week, and we can't wait for it. It's going to be fun. Kyle Busch won tonight in the regular season finale. Fox Sports Live with Jay and Dan next.
Do you think, what it would be like to kiss Jimmy Johnson?
Okay, enjoy the show.